Nerds International proudly presents
Coming at you live from the White Cliffs of Dover, it's me, Nick Lambslice.
And me, Harrison Hunt, aka Belmont.
And we are
The TableTopTwats! Yes!
Woohoo!
We're back! It's another proper episode. No awards ceremonies, no actual plays. We are back, baby. And we got a guest on the show once again because James is not here, so we got a replacement for him. It's the token Asian. It's Peter Beckett, everyone.
Hello.
And he is here because today we've got a bumper show for you. It is packed so full of stuff, it's unbelievable.
fit to burst.
Exactly. We got the feedback. We got what you've been saying. We got the main subject, which today is going to be Batman. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Batman because we recently wrapped up a Batman campaign, so we're going to be talking about different ways to do Batman campaigns. We're going to be talking about how Peter did his Batman campaign, and we're going to be talking about techniques for doing the best Batman campaign.
Yeah.
In it, lads.
Got to have enough puns.
Enough puns.
I don't know about that, but
We'll get on to that later.
And then we've got the Chamber of Challenges, we've got
Yes.
Adventure Calls, and we've got Electro Letters, followed by
The award-winning,
all fancy
pioneering outro, yeah.
Outro. Oh my god, I can't wait, mate.
For the outro.
It's going to be amazing, man.
Yeah.
so basically what you're saying is you want to just get through the show just so you can do the outro.
Yeah, well, that's the best bit, isn't it?
Because then we get to
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah, then we get to go home. We don't want to be here, you know. We don't like doing this.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get on with the feedback.
Woo.
The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback side. The feedback section. The feedback section. So, feedback-wise, right, we haven't got any negative feedback, which is what I really like.
Oh, that's a shame.
No, yeah, you know, I love it. I feed off of negativity. I'm like a sadness vampire.
You're like a negative magnet.
Exactly.
Maybe I should have sent some just to take the piss, really.
I mean, you do give enough enough jip, don't you, Pete?
I might do.
Giving it the large.
Giving it large.
Yeah, so Tim White comes in talking about our DCC actual play, The Foreign Beggars. He says, I really love the cinematic DCC actual plays. Truly entertaining.
Thanks, Timmy.
Should we really read these out? It seems a bit lame just reading people who's telling us.
Well, it's nice to know we're doing something right for once.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so.
Right, next we've got Conrad Erasmus Newbert, and again talking about our DCC actual plays, The Foreign Beggars, and he says, all this failing forward, the poor bastards. It's really cringy to listen to them being maimed and killed in gruesome ways over and over, just to come out not victorious, but again, only barely alive. Yeah, it's a hard old slog, isn't it?
Yeah, because so far, if you don't want to hear spoilers for Foreign Beggars, skip forward about 30 seconds. So far, one of them's had his leg burnt off, the other one's been turned into half a fish man. They've been killed once and then revived, only to be sent back to the beginning of a time loop. It's pretty disgusting, but it's good. It's good. I'm enjoying it.
It's pretty intense, and I've been really enjoying listening through to it, and listening to you guys just
suffer, basically. Let's be honest.
Much, yeah. I see you guys suffer pretty much on a weekly basis in our group, but this is to like a whole new level.
Yeah, mate. Oh, poor little Grimmy and Miney.
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys are still alive.
Me too, actually.
Me three.
Manuel Sams comes in about The Void, Concede Us Awakening, which is one of our bonus contents. He says, this was painful and funny at the same time. Cheers for suffering through this. I'm not sure I'm looking forward to part 2. So this was, I found an old fantasy novel that one of my old bosses from work wrote, and I've been doing a reading of it.
But yeah.
Farted out onto some paper. And I've been doing a reading of that. So yeah, go and listen to that if you fancy it.
Hey, do you want to read Patrick Greenlaw's one?
Yep, so he said, okay, this was bad. The writing, not your narration. It was so bad, it was funny. Kind of like a Mystery Science Theatre 3000.
Yeah, so he's also talking about Concede Us Awakening. I would highly recommend you listen to that. I'm not saying that, look, oh my god, my content's amazing. But if you want to hear the worst fantasy book ever written, but good Christ, listen to that, because my boss wrote this book called The Void Concedus Awakening. It's really, really good, and I'm going to do the second part coming soon because it really gets fucked up when they get to the forest.
Oh mate, spoiler alert, no bread in that world.
Yeah, there's no bread in that world. Yeah, because there was a point where my boss, he said to me there was a problem that could be solved if they had some bread. I can't remember what it was, but I remember us all taking the piss out of his book at work, and we said to him, mate, if they had some bread, this would be solved. So why don't they just go to this shop and buy some bread? And he went, there's no bread in this world.
No bread in this world.
And there was also a bit where we said to him, why don't they just get a fucking horse and cart and go to the next town instead of walking everywhere? And he goes, there's no wheels.
No wheels. Wheels weren't invented.
What?
Yeah, no wheels.
And yet they had airships.
It's like it's a way to pretty much, try to explain a way out of a problem.
It was a contradiction in terms in text. It was ridiculous. It was
and
wicked.
then we got one last bit of feedback from Sean Richer. He says, your awards show is killing me.
Well, literally?
Yeah, we did. Well, that was not our intention, Sean. I apologise.
I hope you're still alive.
Rest in peace. So rest in peace, Sean Richer. I hope you're alright. If you are dead, keep on listening from beyond the grave.
Yeah, we love them. We love them celebrity ghosts.
Anyway, that's it for feedback this episode. Keep it coming, guys. Even if you've got negative feedback, we love it.
Come at us, man.
Yeah, we're always up for a fight.
Let's be having you. Come on, bring it, you piece of shit.
We're all adults here. We can take the criticism.
I can't.
No, I can't.
No, I can't. I'm fragile.
Yeah, me too. Very sensitive.
But let's get on with what we've been playing.
Woo!
With what we've been slaying.
Oi! Yeah? What you slaying?
So first up, we've been playing a bit of Solomon Kane.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Our campaign, which I'd like to call Atonement, right? So to get the sort of introduction out of the way, what it is you guys are... This is a late 16th, early 17th century fantasy campaign where the gruesome things of the night, your vampires, your mummies, those types of things. Mummies. Started...
Your mothers.
Your mother. Those things have started coming back, right?
Yeah.
And so God has resurrected some people from the dead to come and fight those, and those people come from he's resurrected them from hell, and they've been given, or purgatory, and they've been given a chance at redemption by coming back to fight these things. And those guys are you guys, the players.
Yes.
So, in terms of characters, we've got Nobby Suggins, an executioner who only did it to get money, but then he found that he quite liked the money, so he did it long after it was necessary.
And he quite liked the killing.
Yeah. Then we got Christy Cleek, who is a Scottish cannibal who during a famine started up a clan of people who would go out into the woods and take people back to a cave and eat them. And again, did it long after it was necessary because he developed a taste for it.
One of Ryan's darkest characters,
Yes.
I'd say.
But
then
also probably one of his best, I think.
Oh, it's
It
cracking.
is absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
Then we got Pete's character.
My character is Alexandra Perrin, who is a religious zealot who took on white and black magic and got sent to hell for it and extradited from the church.
And then we got Nick's character.
My character is Balthazar von Bracken, and he is from German descent, and he's a pagan witch hunter. Worked under the witch finder general, but got sent to purgatory when he accidentally condemned an innocent to witchcraft.
Yes, and they were burnt alive,
And
right?
he was burnt alive, yeah.
And then, as a punishment, you got burnt alive. Now, all the characters actually bear the scars of how they were killed and sent to hell. So
Yep.
you are glowing all over. because
Yeah, I look
you're
like
burnt.
Spawn with his mask off.
Yeah, but
cool.
we got one more character as well. Roy. He's
He's a bandit.
Yeah, exactly.
I think James said if you've seen Godless, he's loosely based on the guy Roy from Godless, I believe.
I can't
Yeah.
say I've seen it, to be honest.
I haven't seen
It's
it,
on
but
Netflix. It's meant to be pretty good.
so yeah. Then that's the final character. So imagine these guys tasked with trying to save people. That's essentially what it is, and they're trying to redeem themselves and become good. And I think it's really fun because you almost have to have a character arc, don't you?
I love it. And what I love about this is it's such an odd bunch of people that would never under any circumstances be in an adventuring party, apart from the fact that they've been resurrected and chosen by God to do this, as far as we know.
And you've almost got
it's
only
fantastic.
two conventional good guys on the team,
Yeah.
in Alexandra and Balthazar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And realistically, those are the only two good guys, but
But even then, we're still in a moral grey area, really, aren't we?
Well,
Exactly.
there's underlying things because obviously, like my character knows that Christie's a psycho. Also, you're a zealot, and that Balthazar's a witch hunter. So
I mean, in the last episode, you saw sort of what I was capable of with the black magic, and it sort of made you freak out a little bit.
It did,
You're
yeah.
like, she's a witch. She's
exactly.
a witch.
But then that being said, because we're together in this kind of crazy kind of circumstance, our characters kind of have to learn to look past it. I think.
Yeah.
And you were using black magic for good as well. That's the thing. Is that originally Alexandra learned black magic, which is evil, and got sent to hell for it. Evil in the eyes of God, anyway. But she was trying to use it for good. So it's a really interesting campaign, and each time the way we're doing in leveling up is kind of you get in advance if you. With the way we put it is slaughter a prey, and you have to track down monsters and the evil dark things, kill them, and every time you kill them you take their power, and that's represented as an advance. And so this could take a long time, it could take a short time, it depends, but each one of them is going to be bloody hard. That's the way it is.
It's awesome. It's like mission based, and it's so cool. Like the last game we got to, we had 3 potential missions we could go for. We had one in Dover, or 2 in. We know at least 1 in France, and the other that way.
Yeah.
And we thought, right, let's play it safe. Let's start off at home, and then we'll work over to France. So we did our ting in Dover, and mission successful, I'm glad to announce, and now we're looking at France.
But apparently, it turns out we picked the hardest of the missions.
Yes,
didn't
which
we?
was it was a brain screw.
So
it was a mind melter.
Yep.
Essentially what it was, and I'll try and keep this brief, but we're playing Solomon Kane takes place in Savage World. So the two notable things that happened is essentially, first thing they do is they say to each other, okay, so they have this thing called the Hunter's Lamp, which essentially will kind of guide them to the area that they know where something dark is.
Yeah.
And all it does is essentially glow, but once they're there, it won't just keep telling them where they need to go in the town. So
Just the general area, innit?
Just the
Yeah.
general area. So they know they need to go to Dover because it takes them there. Once they're there, they need to investigate that town. Now, they get there, and immediately Alexandra turns to Balthazar and says, okay, where do we start? Balthazar says, okay, we need to go to the church. That's Nick's character. So they go up to the church, and they see this old priest just tending to some bushes, cutting some bushes and stuff like this, tending to the gardens in the graveyard. Yeah. And immediately he sees Alexandra, who had her head cut off for using black magic before when she was extradited from the church, right? Now, the thing is that he recognises her and immediately goes over, and he's like, excuse me, you there? And he's walking over.
Don't I know you?
Don't I know you? And Peter goes,
I'm just going to stay here.
Yeah, and he says, I'm going to stay here, and acts casual.
Round the graves.
Yeah, and then he just walks over and tries to grab her, trying to grab at her scarf, trying to look at her neck where the scar is.
Yeah.
And he goes, but I've seen you. In all the papers, your head was cut off, but yet here you stand, and with such strange company. And he looks around and sees him standing there with a 7-foot executioner, a witch hunter, a guy with all this dried blood in his beard, which actually wasn't from him eating people. He just had some raw meat for lunch.
In the pub.
Yeah, Christy the cannibal.
Yep.
And he immediately turns down and starts to run towards the church, screaming. At which point, Peter's character Alexandra grabs him by the neck and tries to stop him. And he's like, "Okay, calm down." And
Ryan's character then goes right up into his face and goes, "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah, he goes, "Do you know who Christy Cleek is?" And the guy
does.
Yeah, so I rolled for knowledge on him, and he knows who he is. So immediately he starts shitting himself. He's really scared. And then Ryan then rolls intimidate for Christy Cleek, scores a 19, and then I give him that was with a +2, so he rolled a 17, had a +2 because this guy knew who he was, and then he gets a +1 because Nobby Suggins is standing there with a great axe and is a gigantic executioner.
And a burlap sack on his head.
Which he's called, he's called his weapon the breadwinner.
Yeah, and he's so overall he gets a 20 on this guy. So I think, well, he's going to be utterly scared at this point, right? He thinks he's going to die. So I roll on the fear table. He gets a 20. He gets a heart attack straight away. It says you have to die in 2d6 rounds unless you get healing, right? So I roll. He dies. He's going to die in 11 rounds unless he gets specialist healing. Luckily, Peter's character Alexandra is a healer, and he goes, right, I'm going to try and heal him.
I got this, boys.
And then he tries to heal, gets a critical fail. The guy dies immediately.
Starts spewing blood.
He's spewing blood.
my
He spews
God.
blood all over Alexandra's
It's horrendous.
face. So she's got blood all over her face. And then they carry him into the church. And then Balthazar's like, "Can I say a few words? I think he died peacefully."
I will deliver him on to God.
And meanwhile, this guy's got a look on his face like he's like frozen. His final expression on his face is that expression that he had when he died, and it looks like he just died in the most abject horror that you've ever seen.
Horror, yeah. We referred him to like a little petrified prune of fear. Like in the end, he was all balled up and like his face was all just contorted in fear.
I don't know why someone stuck him on the altar, though.
That was whose idea was that?
That was Ryan. Ryan decided, Christy Cleek, the cannibal, decided to put him on the altar just on a little chair, so that if anyone did come into the church, they would kind of think that
Just had art
like double take for a second, like for a thing. Yeah, it's kind of silly. I mean, the thing is that it was that I think that was absolutely brilliant because it was one of those moments that Savage Worlds is great at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just one of those random fucking things. But then you did find out that the darkness that you were searching for in the town was this this guy that apparently started a cult.
It was like a cultist, yeah, that's it. And they were looking for immortality.
Right, and then he poisoned a bunch of people and killed a bunch of people. That's why the graveyard in the church was so massive and consisted of a lot of families and stuff like this. Then you went over to where the old cult used to exist, and then you were immediately teleported over to some weird house.
Oh my God!
And each of you were being continually punished for the things that you did during your life.
Yeah.
And there was this weird face with no eyelids, no lips, and it was all burnt and stuff like this.
Laughing at us.
And that was linked to when what you found out about this guy, that his house had burnt down when people found out about his cult and all of this.
Yeah.
And it turned out, after a very, very, very long time, that he did find the secret to immortality, but he'd existed in just this weird sort of pocket existence.
Yeah,
and
just to torment us, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It's like he was in limbo or something.
yeah, and he was tormenting you over and over again, and he was getting immense joy out of it.
He loved it.
He absolutely loved it, and eventually you guys were just getting tortured over and over again. You were taking fatigue, you were taking wounds, you were...
Every time we tried to exit, it would reset. It was tricky as hell.
Yeah, and nobody could figure out what it was. And then suddenly Ryan comes out with, he's loving this. If we just give up and we just pretend that that we don't give a fuck, then he
might get bored.
And that's what you did. And then for it took like a couple of weeks of in-game time, but you guys just sat there pretending not to give a fuck, and then eventually the guy just gave up, and then he couldn't feed off you anymore, and the fucking thing died. And that was it.
Yeah, we done it.
So we're like sitting there, like taking our punishment. So Ryan's character is like getting fed poisoned meat, and James's character is getting like
Stabbed in the back
with a
repeatedly.
huge axe.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting there taking it. Like, like men, isn't it?
Like champs.
Yeah, and you're just pretending that you don't care, and that was it. It was really cool way to end it.
Yeah, and it was wicked, and it was unusual, and I was generally stumped at the beginning, and I felt a little bit like, oh my God, what? This is the first time I've been playing a game where I'm generally haven't got a clue what's going on, and it was good. It was a little bit of a mind melter, but I liked it.
I had no idea what to do in that situation. So when Ryan piped up with that,
it really well.
turned out to be right, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Savage!
Nick, you played a game called Fiasco with your family.
Mate. Yes, I play tested Fiasco for the first time. I picked it up at DragonCon, and I played it with my family, my wife and my wife's sister and husband. And it was brilliant, mate. It's very, very good. It's very different to your conventional RPG in so much as there's no GM. It's a collaborative storytelling game.
Oh, okay.
There's no rolling for actions or anything. You just basically set a scene. Each person gets a turn. Their character's in the spotlight. They either choose whether to set up the scene themselves, and then the rest of the people decide how it turns out for them, or you can ask for the rest of the team to set up the scene for you, and then you decide the outcome.
Okay.
That's basically the bones of it. And we did a London gangster one. We set it in Croydon. We had some little hoodies in there. My wife's name was Ronnie Two Shanks. Barry's character was called Lance Evening Star. I can't quite remember, but my character was... Letitia, I think her name was, and I can't quite remember the other one. But basically, what we had it was almost like like a talent show, Americans Got Talent or something like that. Whereas one of my character was jilted by Lance Eveningstar, who was a judge on the show, and basically she got my character got ridiculed and got made into a laughing stock, and then loads of connecting things, but the overarching thing was a drug deal. And the funny thing was, there was actually no drugs involved in this drug deal, because Lance wanted to buy drugs off of someone, so he asked one of our characters to get it, but then one of our characters asked another character to get it, and they were meant to be buying the drugs off of each other, so there was no drug deal. There was no drugs in this drug deal, but none of them knew it, and someone got murdered, something else happened, there was a shoot up in a strip club. It was fantastic, and I couldn't recommend it enough. It's very good fun.
That sounds really good. So hopefully we'll get to play that again soon, because that sounds wicked, because you've been going on about that a lot, and I really hope you get the chance to play it. But I'm certain we will, because sometimes we play the odd one shot here and there, so hopefully...
It's good fun. Yeah, it's really good fun, and it's like, especially if you're a bit time limited, I mean, you can bash out a game of Fiasco about 2.5 hours.
Do you reckon you could play a longer game in it as well, though, like a 4-hour one?
Yeah, you can play a long one. You could, I think you can also, in the book, it says that it's good. It's nice to start a game of Fiasco if you want to then convert that into a long-running campaign with a different RPG rules, but you could get almost like a primer of Fiasco, set up a situation, and then that's a start for a campaign, say, in GURPS or something like that. But no, it's cracking. It's cracking, so hopefully we get to give it a bash.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions, actually, is could this be adapted into a longer campaign?
Absolutely, yeah, but it's very good for making... It's basically a... what's it called? An improvisational game. It's basically an improvisation game, but it's very good for creativeness. So yeah, absolutely. If you want to get some creative ideas for a story, play a game of Fiasco, get it written down, then port that over to a longer running campaign in a different system. You're flying.
Sounds good.
Wicked.
I wanted to talk briefly as well, because we're going to have Owen Lean on the show soon.
Nice.
But I wanted to talk briefly about a LARP that I played, because we're going to have him on the show soon, but this was run by Owen Lean, but we're going to have him on soon to talk about how to do it and stuff like this.
Nice.
So we played a LARP using Savage Worlds, right? So for those that don't know, a LARP is a live action role play, so you walk about and you be your character, you dress up, that kind of stuff, right? So we played Hell on Earth, Deadlands Hell on Earth, right? So I don't know much about this setting, so I'm going to tell it from what I know from what I played, okay? So he told us that it was kind of 80s, that kind of thing. But he said when we arrived that as far as you know, it's the time that you are from. Okay, so I think that what it was that there were people from different times there.
Okay,
because
cool.
we were kind of like, there were certain people that were dressed in 80s fashion, but there were certain people that were dressed in post-apocalyptic fashion, because it was a post-apocalyptic game.
Right.
So I think there were certain people from different timelines and stuff like this, and things like that. Now, the whole thing was set in like a diner, an all-American diner, right? And we went to London, and he'd rented out this like bottom floor of a pub that was kind of like a club type.
It was like a disco, yeah.
Exactly.
Great.
And we had music playing and stuff like this, and it was fucking brilliant, right? And the way that the rules works, because you don't constantly roll, right? You just have stats for your character, and you're not going to constantly roll unless you're coming up against NPCs and stuff like this.
Okay.
But let's say, for example, you roll against another player. Now, that's rarely going to happen. Most things are just role-played, unless it's an absolute imperative that you need to roll against another player, like it can't be solved unless
for an opposed role, proposing something
exactly.
or whatever, yeah.
Now, you can't use persuade against another character and stuff like that, because that's bullshit. Of course you can't.
Yeah.
Like we don't in our table games.
No, that's true, yeah.
So, unless it's an NPC, but you can't use it against another player, is what I mean.
Yeah.
Now, so if say, for example, I go up to your character, Nick, and I want to fucking shoot you in the face, well, then okay, you need to call over Owen, because he's the organiser, and say, I want to shoot Nick in the face, because he's winding up. So then Owen comes over, he's got his phone, he's got the Savage Worlds dice roller, because it's much quicker than rolling dice on the floor, and he'll roll for you. Okay, that's pretty common. A lot of people might know this, and I'm probably retreading normal ground. So he'll do that, and that's basically how it worked. Now, the story kind of was that we all come into this diner, it's a wasteland, this kind of thing, and everyone has these little goals. So my character was a comedian who just survived throughout the wasteland because he had kind of survived through comedy, right? He wasn't that capable at shooting, he wasn't that capable at this, that and the other, but every time somebody put a gun to his head, he would tell a joke, and that was it.
It's like the classic bully. It's kind of the classic bully at school kind of method. If you could, don't get beaten up, try and either come across as crazy or crack some jokes.
Right,
And then they might go away.
And then what happened was while I was adventuring in the wasteland one time, I tried to steal off this guy who then put a gun to my head, and both of us were having the worst time of our lives, and it was one of those if you don't laugh you'll cry moments. And I cracked a joke and we both started laughing and we became best mates. Now that was James's character,
Right, yeah.
and he was a part of a band, right? And so his goal was that he was looking to find his band members or start a new band, right? And mine was that I had a mysterious black gem in my bag and I had to find out what it did. Now,
Cool.
I'll keep this as brief as I can, but essentially there were a lot of players there that either wanted the black gem or knew what it fucking did.
Right, okay.
But I had to play it close to my chest because I knew that this thing was really powerful and I couldn't let it fall into the wrong hands. Mm-hmm. The second that it was found out that I fucking had it, the whole place went into combat. The whole place.
Jesus.
So this girl came up to me, right? This girl who could like turn invisible and all of this shit.
Yeah. Turn invisible?
Yeah. So she there's like a gesture that you do or something like this, right? And then you essentially have to role play that you can't see them.
Right.
So she comes up to us. We're having a conversation with this robot dude, right? One of the players, and essentially James and I were just fucking with him because we found it funny that we were talking to a robot. Because our characters literally were like, we're not like the other characters. They were all awesome. They were cool. They had guns. They were capable. We were kind of like
misfits,
misfits and outsider characters. We built our characters that way. We did it on purpose.
It's fun though, isn't it? Yeah.
And we were talking to this robot, and we were kind of like pleased to see a robot, and so we were just like, "Run diagnostics again," and he was like, "Running diagnostics, all clear." And we were like, "Do that again," and he's like, "Running diagnostics, all clear," and we're like, "Do that again." And then and we were kind of doing like fucking with this robot dude.
Yeah.
And then this girl comes up and she's like, "Hey, I've heard about these gems. Has anyone seen one?" And then James and I are like, "Yeah, we need to go and get a drink." And my character's like kind of Australian. We go over to the bar and I'm like, "Mate, we gotta fucking isolate that girl and like fucking talk to her, mate. We can't just be fucking talking to her in front of a fucking Robocop over there." And then so we wait till she's on her own and we're like, "What do you know about the gems?" And she goes like this and does this gesture. Sorry, I just said this on the radio. She does this weird gesture.
What Harrison's doing, he's putting his thumb on his forehead and almost doing the mobile phone sign. Yeah, almost like a unicorn.
Like a little finger out, right?
Yeah.
And she points to my head and goes, "Mind read," like this.
Whoa.
And then Owen has to come over and she goes, "I mind read," and I'm like, the thought is so on the surface, you're going to get it straight away. And so she goes, "Okay, I'm mind reading him," and I go, "Yeah, I've got a gem in my bag," and she just goes, "Okay," and she pulls out a gun, and then I pull out a knife, and then the whole like diner immediately looks over, sees us fighting. Apparently, her brother and sister or something like this were over there, and they immediately join in the fight. Everyone else starts joining the fight. We all start wailing on each other. Everyone's going mental.
Yeah.
She turns invisible, steals my bag, runs across the diner, but I can see my bag floating, so I run across, knife just in front of the bag, right, to try and stab her.
Yeah.
And, the whole bar. Then somebody reaches into my bag, steals the black gem out of it, right?
Shit, not her.
And that was. But essentially, the point I'm trying to make is at this point, everyone else in the diner was more capable than my character with this gem. They
You're
knew
just an Aussie stand-up comedian.
Right, they knew what it was, they knew what it did, and afterwards, this combat went on for ages, and then I shot my gun in the air and went, "Okay, can we just talk about this?" Right? So then this sort of round-robin thing happened, where all of us stood in a circle, and this sheriff dude started talking about, like, "Okay, here's what it does, and everyone was talking about why they should have the gem.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, whoever's holding the knife gets to talk, and that all broke down pretty quick as well. We all started arguing, right? And then, my only claim to it was I found it first.
Well, yeah, finders keepers.
Right, but then you had these guys called the librarians who like knew shit, and then you had the robots that were more efficient, you know, things like this. And
people that could mind read and turn invisible.
Right, and then you had all these guys that were just these like, you know, awesome McRad type characters, and then you had me. Right, and I was just like, I fucking found it, mate.
So it's mine, alright? Now fuck off.
So, kind of for the last hour and a half of the game,
yeah,
I didn't really have much to do. You dig?
Yeah,
Because and it's not like I don't think anyone did anything wrong. I just feel like they built these really capable characters, and what we tend to do in our table games is we like to play flawed characters.
Yeah.
And I went in there knowing that everyone was going to be the main characters, and so what I kind of did at the end was I just wanted to sacrifice my character to help something out. So this guy, a storm started coming towards the diner.
Yeah.
And I thought, if I'm going to be kind of useless, I might as well just kill off my character.
Oh, mate, go out in a blaze of glory.
So, not necessarily a blaze of glory, more like a fart of crap. But what happened was, is that this guy sort of started doing this spell, and he, because this storm started coming towards the diner.
Yeah.
And this guy called, he had a really weird name, so he just said, "Call me Rainbow Boy." No, he was awesome. He was
Rainbow Boy.
He was wearing a rainbow suit, and
Fair enough.
And, he was a mage, right?
Nice.
So he said, "Call me Rainbow Boy," and he said this storm started coming towards the bar, and he goes, "Okay, right, I'm going to cast a spell," and I go, "I'm going to sacrifice myself to help the spell." So every round, Owen was like, "Right, we're going to need 50 successes," and I'm like, okay, I cut my wrist, sacrificing all my strength, and I'm just going to cut it into the spell. And then I went down to a D4, and I'm like, right, spirit. Okay, this time I'm just going to stab my head or whatever. Yeah. I'm just like, I need to save all these people.
Yeah.
And then Owen's like, right, okay, so basically you see this like mangled mess on the floor turn into a giant golem. And I'm like...
Was that you?
Yeah, and I was like, okay,
Jesus.
what do I do? And then there's all these people outside the front of the diner.
Yeah.
So I basically crashed through the top of the diner, punched the storm into the direction of all the capable people, and that was basically it. I was just like, all right, okay, it was a cool ending, but like, yeah, for a little while, because I was just this idiot trying to find out what to do with a gem, as soon as all the cool people found out what to do, I was just like, what am I going to do? And me and James were just like, should we get another beer?
Serve no purpose. Yeah.
That was very much
What
it.
about James's character? Did he have any spotlight moments?
Yeah, well, because me and him sort of started two really big combats. That was kind of cool.
Oh,
But
God, yeah,
that's
biggest
awesome.
combat ever, wasn't it?
I will say that I think a lot of the people there, and I would agree, a lot of people there agreed that the combat was not why we were there.
Right.
And so
Roleplay.
we enjoyed that,
Yeah.
and it was fucking brilliant. I'll be honest, but I think a lot of it was sort of a lot of people there agreed that they were there for the roleplay.
Yeah, man.
And while I would really, really say that the combat was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. A lot of people just wanted to get back to the roleplay, and there were even people amongst it, even though it was an in-character zone.
Yeah.
People were saying, "Oh, can we just get back to the talking?" Do you know what I mean?
okay.
And so
Yeah.
it was kind of like, yeah, it was a little bit of a mix because
Right.
I was fucking loving it. I was like, I can't wait till my turn. And me and
would love
James
the
were like
fighting.
whispering to each other.
Yeah.
And we was like, "Oh, what are you gonna do?" And he was,
Especially LARP.
I was like, "Why don't you go around there and then
Yeah.
you can shoot this guy in the hand and all this stuff?" And we was like,
Nice.
"Yeah, it was fucking cool." But like, yeah, I loved it. But yeah, as I said, I think next time. Maybe
More rad required.
yeah, more rad required. You've got
Gotcha.
to build your character in maybe a different way than
Yeah.
you would in a table game.
Purposely for LARP. If you know what I mean, you'd make it a little bit different for the fact that it's going into a LARP game rather than a normal tabletop
To me,
game.
it was a room full of main characters.
Gotcha.
But
Where-
to be
Wild
fair,
cards everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it does sound like everyone sort of wanted to play a main character. So having you and James sort of playing these sort of secondary characters sort of breaks up the flavour a little bit, doesn't it?
I would agree with that, and you know, in for example, in the Gotham game, you know, that we just went through, when I purposefully played a shit character,
Yeah.
Man.
Man, yeah.
I sometimes like to play a little goon.
If
Do
I
you know
run
what I mean?
a LARP,
But
I
then-
think I'd insist on flawed characters in some ways because I think it does make it
Yeah,
good.
but I think that's how we create our characters as a group, though, is we create flawed characters.
'Cause
We
I
don't want
think-
anyone who's too OP, really.
Yeah,
do
but then
we?
I think that in a table game, when you have a set of 5 characters, the group is a main character. But then you have to remember, you've got a room full of 30 people.
Yeah.
It's not a story about a group. It's a story about a setting of people, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's completely different. Everyone can be the main character because everyone is the main character in their story.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that's why it's different, and it's not the same. So you absolutely can all be the main character.
It's a really interesting dynamic, isn't it?
So yeah, that's why it's different. So now let's get on to what you've been slaying with Batman. No.
Shut up!
Sorry.
Yeah.
Main. Subject. Main. Subject. Sorry.
This is the main subject, and today we are talking about Batman.
Batman.
Right, Batman himself is not an RPG, but the reason we're talking about this is because we just wrapped up a Batman campaign. Now, this is obviously a very, very beloved property, and floating around on the internet, you will often see people say, how do I make the Joker, or how do I make the Batman in X, or whatever, in X system, or whatever. And I wanted to discuss with you guys, like, how to do Batman in a variety of different ways, how Peter did Batman, and things like this. Because, personally, the way Peter ended up doing his Batman campaign was not how I expected it, and it's a completely different flavour to how Tim Burton did it, to how Christopher Nolan did it, to how it's done in the comics. And I think that what it opened my eyes to was that there's so many different ways to do a Gotham/Batman campaign, and I think there'll be a very interesting discussion. So, to kick things off, what we'll do is we'll go through how Peter, first of all, did his campaign, and we'll talk about that, and then we'll get into like some other different techniques, and Nick and I will talk about how we would do it and things like this, and we've come up with a few ideas. So first off, Pete, describe your Batman campaign.
So basically, the story revolved around the fact that Batman had decided to retire and hang up his cape and cowl, but there was still crime in the city that needed dealing with, so he decided that he needed to bring in a team. He's very old, he's probably not got all his marbles really, did he?
No.
He was a bit mad.
He was the most batshit crazy Batman I've ever met, I was going to say, but I met that many Batmans. But
I've met a few. He's the most crazy, definitely.
He was nuts in a varying different manner of ways. That became obvious fairly quickly. We've been through this on the podcast a little bit, but because this is the main subject, we'll go through it a little bit again. He loved prostitutes, but he would kill them and then put them in a big net. Like, his sense of justice had long gone. He would drink, he'd kill prostitutes, he did cocaine, he
showing porn to minors.
That porn to minors,
he was not the Batman we knew and loved.
No.
It wasn't completely clear if he was always like this and kept it secret or what,
No.
Anyway.
The way that I sort of played it was that about 40 years of crime fighting had sort of made him go a bit crazy.
Nice.
Right.
So I took a lot of beloved elements from certain aspects. So I took the older Batman from Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. One of the episodes that you guys played down in the Narrows was a take on Batman Begins by Christopher Nolan.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
So I'd fused a lot of elements from there, and also a lot of the stuff like the Arkham section was pretty much ripped out straight out of Rocksteady's Arkham Asylum game.
Cool. You even had things from the Lego Batman movies, the cartoons. Like, it was bits from here and there, like whichever bits that you liked, it was in there.
The thing is that I'm a big Batman fan, always have been, and I think that Batman has got such a rich history that you can actually delve into, but you can also subvert that in your own way to make a campaign, which I thought gave it a particular flavour.
Right, and people have been doing this for years. I mean, you look at the comics, they always have different writers and things like this, and people subvert it, and then all the nerds get angry and they put it back to the way it was. But the point is that I think that's what makes it so fun to make a campaign.
Of course, I wanted to go for a much darker, a lot grittier take on Batman, sort of much akin to Frank Miller's style.
Do you think that's how it ended up?
Definitely. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I think there's a lot of other things that I could have done with it. There's a lot of other things I wish I would have done with it, but we'll go into that a little bit more later.
So, because I was going to say, I think that in terms of darkness, I think that it certainly had elements of that in there, but I think I would describe it as a dark comedy.
Black comedy, yeah.
Because comedy, because the thing is that you had a lot of dark elements in there that, like, it got pretty fucked up. But the thing is that, like, all of the dark elements were like 100% of the time used for like comedy. I mean, like, I don't know if it was intentional, like that was your intention going in, but like you had certain elements where it was just like Batman had basically a collection of prostitute skeletons, and like But like, it was so fucking brilliant. And like, just the first mission where we were going through Batman's house, Bruce Wayne's house, and then we saw him on the bridge, like this silhouette of Batman and stuff like this. And it was all dark, and we were finding all of Batman's dead relatives and stuff like this.
Oh my god, it's like a simulation, wasn't it?
And it was all a simulation.
Yeah.
It was fucking fantastic. But then throughout the game, like, there were moments of sheer comedy. Like, for example, when we recovered a cache of guns, right, that belonged to Deadshot, and we were like,
it wasn't Deadshot, it was Deathstroke.
Deathstroke.
That's it.
Yeah, and then we sort of like got it all in a big box, got Batman to come and pick it up in the Batwing, and when we got it onto the plane, we were like, right, Batman, we recovered these guns, and he just went, no guns, and he just fucking loosed them, and as soon as he let them go, you're like, and you can see them dropping onto Arkham Asylum, and it was just like,
I didn't tell you at the time that they dropped at Arkham Asylum, but that was the setup for the next episode.
Yeah, we were like, Batman, you've just armed the city by teaching us a lesson.
Yeah, and he's like, no guns. God damn it. We were like, I'm drunk. He's flying the plane while he's drunk.
Well, most of it's done by autopilot anyway, to be fair.
And one of the darkest moments as well is when we decided to confront Batman for all of his misdemeanors, and we decided to punch the fuck out of him on the plane because we knew we'd be distracted trying to fly it, and we were beating the fuck out of him. And as we started punching him, the plane's controls get knocked downwards a little bit, and the plane starts flying ultra low altitude, and we're just going through the city, and there are people just getting mashed up,
churned up. Yeah,
it is just plowing through people as we're like on the Batwing, just beating the fuck out of him, and all the while the front of the Batwing is just being covered in
body parts and blood.
Yeah, and we're just like, we've got to kill Batman before, and then we can write this. Like, it was beautiful. But so why did you choose Call of Cthulhu to play Batman?
There was two reasons mainly I chose the Call of Cthulhu system. Was one, because of my experience of the system. It was the system that I played first when I'd gotten back into role-playing games. I mean, Sean had done a lot of one-shots and stuff like that, so I felt very familiar with the system. But also, it was the fact that with a lot of stuff that people don't seem to experience with like a Batman campaign is the fact that he is the world's greatest detective, and the investigation side of Call of Cthulhu really lends to that really well. So I wanted to incorporate a lot of that into that.
Well, I heard it put a very good way once by James Rolfe, who said that Batman and Gotham is essentially a noir crime thriller with a superhero in it.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I think that's why Call of Cthulhu works for it. Did you have to make any alterations to this system to make it work?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, actually, because yes, I did. With the combat being a little bit chunky at times, it doesn't really lend to a very free-flowing combat system like Batman's known for. So I decided to add, as well as obviously I have the dodge in there, which is half your dex. I decided to add the parry mechanic, meaning that if you scored half of your dodge, you would instantly get a parry and an instant counterattack.
Yeah, so you wanted to do, we put in the bat dodge to sort of keep it close to the like Arkham Asylum games.
Yeah.
So if you were hitting in melee range, you would always roll dodge, and if you managed to parry an attack, so if you rolled half your dodge, then you would get an opportunity to attack. Now this could result in people constantly just parrying each other's blows and getting into a big melee slap fight, but that was kind of fun. It never actually really happened. It would happen a couple of times where you might have punch like people getting into like a big fight with each other, but that was kind of fun.
It did happen once where an NPC character and one of the player characters did actually sort of trade blows for a little bit, for I think it was over like 4 turns. So it was like, all right, attack, parry, counterattack, parry, counterattack, parry.
But that I think it lends itself to that kind of thing, because you often see in Batman things when he's fighting, you see them trading blows like that.
There's no quick like, he pulls a gun and that's it. It's with Batman, it's long martial art fighting, kind of, blocking and punching and counter punching, a big old brawl. So it works for that really well for that, I think. Yeah.
Right. And so do you think it worked well in terms of helping you build the Batman game?
What, the parry mechanic, or just generally like the
Call of
Cthulhu?
Cthulhu?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. There was a lot of the fantastical elements, like having Killer Croc in there. I sort of used a Mythos character for that.
So what do you think that Call of Cthulhu did well in terms of helping you create this campaign?
Definitely, I'd say the investigation side of it. It's got so many great investigation mechanics. It's got a lot of the fantastical dark elements to it, which lends itself very nicely to the noir setting.
Did you strip the magic out, Pete? I can't remember.
No, it was
there
in
was
there,
a magic
but it
character in there.
Oh, of course there was. Yes,
I
sorry.
played magic character.
Yep.
At one point, I did consider putting a lot more magic
hat,
in there
yeah.
by having someone like Russell Gould in there.
Okay.
But, never really got round to doing that. To be fair,
Part 2, mate. Part 2.
who knows?
Yeah.
We could go from there. But yeah, I think it worked out really well actually using Call of Cthulhu.
Nice fit.
Yeah.
But what do you think it did badly,
Ooh,
the system?
it's like I said, it's chunky in combat. So I might use a bit more of a free-flowing combat system next time. I might use Savage Worlds for that. Because at the time I was considering using Savage Worlds because it was the second system I'd sort of done a lot with,
Yep.
played a lot of games with, and I love the combat in that game, but sometimes the investigation is not as solid.
Well, the thing about investigation in Call of Cthulhu, the reason it works is because it allows you to specialise in certain areas of investigation.
Yeah.
Now, the reason it doesn't work in other games is because, okay, yeah, you do investigation, you use specific knowledge and things like this, right? But players inevitably don't do it, right? They'll put points in investigation specifically,
Yeah.
right? And then they'll go, oh, good, it works for every single general type of investigation, right?
Yeah.
And it's good because then if you have a varied campaign in Savage Worlds, you know, you can have an investigation episode, a combat episode, things like this.
Yeah.
But for a game that revolves a lot about investigation, doesn't work.
No.
It,
Yeah,
it doesn't.
exactly.
It doesn't because you need a lot of different skills. Because then when it's time for the anthropology guy to come in or the psychology guy to come in, cool. And then you've got the guy who's good at spotting things. You know,
Yeah.
the guy with the magnifying glass comes in, the Sherlock Holmes type. You know,
Library use.
Yeah, the guy
Exactly,
that's
yeah.
the guy that hangs around in the library. You know, or whatever.
Yeah.
Point is, you've got specialised different guys for all the stuff. You can't have one guy that's a jack of all trades in Call of Cthulhu. You can't. And that's why it works. Okay, so if you were to start over and do this all from the beginning, and do, like, let's say for example you started and you have all the knowledge you have now and you went right back to the beginning and did this all from the beginning, is there anything you do differently?
The only thing that I might do differently this time around is not make it as obvious that Batman was fucking batshit crazy.
Right. Okay, I thought that was one of the more fun elements of the campaign.
It was great. It's just obviously it's set up pretty early on that he was going to be the main antagonist of the whole thing, and you guys, I think
Figured it
around
out too
episode
early.
2 or 3, sort of figured out that he was a problem and he needs to be gotten rid of, basically.
But I hear a lot of newbie DMs get annoyed that not annoyed, like, wrong word, but get frustrated that perhaps the players figured out the ending before the DM wanted to.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, from a player standpoint, they feel like geniuses when that happens.
Yeah.
And the fact that we figured it out before you wanted us to, that's a great reward for us.
Yeah, it
we
was big
we
rewards.
loved
Yeah.
it, and it resulted in one of the best combats I've ever had in a game.
Yeah.
So you have to remember that you've done your job there.
Yeah.
Because the fact is that we figured out that Batman was evil and that he needed to be stopped, and then we came up with a plan to fucking beat the shit out of him on a plane while it was mowing people down through Gotham.
And then cover it up and make it look like a suicide?
Yeah, no, we made it look like a terrorist
That
attack.
was it, terrorist attack. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like that's the thing, Pete, is that it doesn't necessarily matter that it didn't go the way you wanted it to. What you have to remember is that it ended fucking great.
And what we
Yeah.
took away from
Okay,
it. Yeah.
maybe you could have done it in a more subtle way, but I don't think your campaign was necessarily about subtlety.
And some of the best
No.
comedy was the banter between Batman and the party.
I definitely agree.
When we were fucking telling him he was being a dick and he would just punch somebody in the face, like, that was genius. Like,
We
it
interrogated the
was fun.
sword. Batman was on board with that. You know what I mean?
I actually don't remember how it became a thing that you were interrogating a sword.
Because there was a sword. The sword was the
Deathstroke's
only
sword,
lead
wasn't
we
it?
had, and it was our biggest clue. And we couldn't get any information about this sword. We had to look online, and we didn't. And it was still a bit stuck. And in the end, we found this sword, and was like, the sword knows. Let's ask the sword.
Yeah, because we found out that somebody was killing people
Yeah.
with a sword that was possessed and it was talking, right? And we got hold of another sword that belonged to that same team, and then we were fucking beating the shit out of a sword
For information.
and we thought we were beating the shit out of it for so long we didn't realise, we thought that we maybe had one of the swords that wouldn't talk, and we were fucking, and then there was a point where Man no, it wasn't Man, it was King Wee Wee, one of my other characters, he got a blowtorch and held it up to the sword, and then Peter was like, you hear the sword suddenly go, don't. And then we were like,
we do it!
yes, there is a talking sword. Yeah, that was funny as
So
shit.
good.
Yeah, 'cause it was like every time you were like, I want to ask it something, it's like, roll investigation then, or roll this, and he was like, he says nothing.
Okay, so I personally think that Call of Cthulhu, again, as a noir crime thriller, because that's essentially what Batman is. But it has combat and a superhero in it. And for anyone arguing, Batman is a superhero. His superpower is money, infinite money. But basically, that's what it is, right? I think Call of Cthulhu works spectacularly for that. I think the highlights of the campaign were when we were doing role play and when we were doing investigation. I think the combat was actually really surprisingly good, and that's not me having a go at you, Pete. What I'm saying is
The
that
system itself is quite chunky.
Shit. It's shit for combat. Like, essentially, that's what it is. It's what it does the worst, and that's why I'm saying, like, I think that's its weakest point. Like, if I was to do a post-mortem on the campaign, I was so surprised at how much fun I had in the combat. But the biggest problem I have with Call of Cthulhu is initiative. I fucking hate the way it works in that, because in a game that's like, sometimes you want your character to have the edge even if you're a slow guy. What I hated about it was whenever I built characters in that game, I knew to, like, because you one thing you changed was so that people wouldn't min-max and things like this. You made sure that everyone had the exact same amount of points to spend in skills, right? But that meant that people could min-max in other ways, right? So your dump stat inevitably would be intelligence and education. Because usually intelligence and education determines how many points you have in to spend in skills, right? And those will inevitably become your most important skills. Reason being is because your most important attributes, I should say. The reason being is because those determine how many skills you get, because you're usually playing smart, educated investigators in Call of Cthulhu. Whereas this time they didn't matter. We rarely rolled them because you just didn't, and you always got the same amount of skill points. So I would inevitably dump stat education and intelligence. And Man, in fact, was really fucking stupid, but he was skinny and agile because he was used to running for the bus. So I put everything in Dex, because I knew the amount of combat that we were doing would mean that every time that combat happened, initiative was whoever's got the highest Dex goes first.
Exactly.
No rolling. It doesn't, and that's not what initiative is.
So you pretty much got an idea of your turn order before you've even played a game.
Exactly. And initiative isn't who's the fastest. It can be who thought the first as well. Because even if you're slow, you might have thought first. So you might think, oh shit, I need to do this, even if you're a slow guy. Right? And that's not what initiative is, and that's part of the reason I fucking hate the initiative in I
do as well.
In Call of Cthulhu. And I think that sometimes, right, you might have a beefcake think to do something first, and that's what I don't like about it. And it meant that in that game, that's the only problem I really had with, like, system-wise in that campaign, because I would inevitably dump stat education and intelligence and put everything in Dex, because I knew that, okay, I don't want to die, I have to go first.
I'll get a quicker go.
Dex,
Right, and it's like, it's not even me being like a min-maxy type player, because I made flawed characters, but it's just, I had two characters that died because I didn't max Dex.
It's a weak link in the whole Cthulhu system, considering how good Cthulhu is.
Right. No, but then usually when you're playing it, if you're in combat, you're kind of doing something wrong.
Right?
True. So usually it works. And if you play it by the book, I was talking to Sean about this, who's a big Call of Cthulhu guy. Usually, if you play it by the book and you roll for your stats and you do education and intelligence, and you put those as your skills, and kind of it kind of works, because if you're trying to get out of combat, you're doing it right.
Yeah.
So it kind of works, but I don't know. In this case, it was a combat heavy game, and I knew that I had to put shit in decks, because otherwise I would fucking die.
Yeah.
Because the pirate, my first character, and King Wee Wee died because I didn't max out decks.
Yeah, exactly.
And I took like 5 attacks and
that was it.
died.
Gone. Yeah.
And it was like same thing. Me and James, when I got in a fight with another character, with the pirate, my first character, he had a higher dex than me. He punched me. I died.
Yeah.
End of story.
God. Yeah.
Nick, how about you? Is there any particular things that about the system that you think that did it particularly well or bad?
I liked how sanity was put into a Batman game, if you know what I mean. It was interesting, because normally it's like, you see unearthly or otherworldly creatures in Cthulhu and you take a sanity check. But then obviously there's not too much of that in the Batman game. It was more real people or superhero villains, not so much evil monsters from other dimensions. But we still had the sanity checks.
I think it really suited the game as well, because it's a dark setting.
Yep.
Yeah, the thing is that you guys were newbie superheroes, so you would have seen a lot of stuff that you wouldn't have seen before, like dead bodies, mangled corpses, and
totally. Yeah, dead prostitutes. You know.
Yeah, too many dead prostitutes, for Christ's sakes.
I loved it how there was constant moments where James kept on taking sanity loss, right, and he kept on getting really bitter about it and kept on trying to get other people to take it. Do you remember, he'd see a dead body and then he'd be like,
everyone else has got a sanity for that.
So he'd see a dead body and then he'd be like, I just took sanity loss, how come he ain't? And then Peter's like, because he's used to it.
He's seen it before.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Hopefully that gives listeners a good picture of how to build a type of a Batman campaign in Call of Cthulhu, how it works, how it doesn't work. What we're going to do now is we're going to jump into a couple of other ways to do it. Just before we do, I wanted to specify that there are a million ways. There's so many ways to do a Batman campaign. This is just going to be like sort of Nick and I's ways to do it, right? And Peter, obviously, you can chime in your opinions and stuff like this. We are fully aware that there are some specific superhero ways to do this. The best one, obviously, is going to be the Marvel superheroes one, which a lot of people really like. Face rip, that type of thing. However, Nick and I are not familiar with that, so we're probably I'm not going to mention it and things like this. This is just going to be our ways, the ways that we know. Yeah. So bear that in mind. So first off, I'll kick this off. My first choice is going to be GURPS. Right.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, I know it's a bit of a cop-out, right, because I'm using an open system, right, but I've got a more wacky one for my second one, right, so bear with me for this one. The reason I went for GURPS for Batman is because it's got many skills in it, right? So we talked about, with Call of Cthulhu, the fact that it's got loads of skills, and that sort of lends itself to an investigative game. Now, GURPS has got fuckloads. Do you remember looking in the back how many fucking skills it's got in there?
Oh my god!
So it's got like shitloads of knowledge skills, right? And then it's got shitloads of actual like doing skills as well, right? It's got an absolute wealth of skills in there, and I think that's part of the reason that I wanted to go to it, because the amount of characters that you can build in that, right, is ridiculous, in the amount of skills, right? So that makes it a good investigative game, right? Yeah. And it's got solid combat as well. It's deadly, like Cthulhu, but it's actually got really good combat. It's got a good initiative system. It's got good fatigue in there. It's got rules for sanity. It's got rules for pretty much everything. But the combat is fucking brilliant in GURPS. And additionally, I think it has a really good varying power level system. So the way this works is that it's a point buy system. So you can spend points to make a character, and you buy everything from your attributes to your skills to your advantages and disadvantages to your starting gear to everything, right? So this means that if you're playing a pretty normal character, you usually start with between 100 to 200. In our game, for normal characters, we did 125, which I think is like the sweet spot for a normal dude, right?
Okay.
A fairly capable normal dude.
So you would say for something like the Batman one, you would use 200 if you're doing like superpowers?
Maybe, and I'll get into this, right?
Okay.
But they say for superpowers, go for 400, right? If you're playing like Wonder Woman type, like level type characters, right? So my point is that you could do varying power levels easily in this campaign. So let's say, for instance, you're playing a Gotham game like we did, where you start off as budding superheroes, like kind of shitty ones, and you're just normal dudes. Start off with 150 or to 200 power points, but then you meet characters like Wonder Woman, like the Flash, things like this, give them 400 to 500 points. Or if you're playing godly characters, you can even give them 1,000. Superman, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense.
So my point is that that's why the varying power levels really works, and it means that unlike Cthulhu, where everything caps out at 99 or 80 or whatever, you know, you can
make godly creatures,
automatic successes.
Yeah,
they're much likely to like still sometimes fail in this as well, which I really like. I thought that really works, but. And whether you're still playing like an insignificant superhero or a godly one, the types of shit that you can make are insane. So what I did is I took a 125 point character and just tried to make like this most whacked out stupid shit that I possibly could in GURPS, right?
Yeah.
So I've made a character, right, with 125 points and tried to make a superhero, right? Okay. So I've made a sentient monster truck.
Nice.
Not bad.
Now I didn't want to just take the stats for a vehicle and just port it over, right? So I've tried to see making the normal character creation rules in GURPS if I could make a sentient monster truck. So his name's Carl Carson.
Oh my god.
Right, and he's got like 18 strength, which gives him 18 hit points, right? So I didn't even need to level up his hit points. The reason I did that was so that he would have a massive regular attack, right? Because it has to be an innate attack,
Right.
and I've given him an innate attack as well because he's got spikes, which gives him an extra 1d impaling damage. So he's like a spiky car.
Yeah.
He's got gigantism, which gives him +1 to move. So he's quite fast as well.
Yeah.
Leveled up his dex massively. He's got an odious habit, right? So to claw back some points as well.
Yeah.
So he's got -1 to reaction rolls because he's always farting out oil. He's got damage resistance at the highest level that you can possibly buy it because he's a car.
Because he's a car, yeah.
He's got 5 legal immunity as well. I bought all of that because he's a car, so you can't arrest him.
Can't arrest a car. Can't put handcuffs on a wheel, can you?
Yeah, because if he murders somebody, right, people will come along. They'll be, who did this? Well,
It's
it's a car.
Yeah, I knew him, is it? It's a car.
Yeah, exactly. People will try and look for the owner of the car. They won't suspect the car.
That's what I was
They
just
look
about.
in the car
That's what I
for
was
him,
just-
but yeah.
I was just about to say that. Really, you can't arrest a car. You arrest the person driving the car.
Right, and they'll look inside. Nobody's in it.
Yeah.
I've got the does not eat advantage.
Makes sense.
And disadvantages, right? I needed to claw a lot of points back, right, to try and spend it in the skills because all of those advantages cost me a lot of points.
Yeah.
So I got chronic depression. He's depressed that he got turned into a car.
Aw.
And disturbing voice. So he speaks like this. Right, and
So he's sort of like part Knight Rider, part maniac.
kind. He's not necessarily a maniac. He's just depressed, and he's like, "I'm terribly sad. Somebody save me."
But I can't get it across because I have this horrible voice.
And I still didn't have a lot of points left over for skills, but I managed to get quite a lot, right? Because he's a crime-fighting car. So
Yeah.
I got 2 points in detect lies, 2 in diplomacy, 4 in driving, 2 in electronics repair. I don't know how he would do it, but I think he more tells other people how to do it.
I love diplomacy. I could just picture two people arguing and then this monster truck pulls up in the middle and then all of a sudden they're hugging.
He's like, "Can we just talk about this?"
That's just
but
weird.
he does have -1 to reaction rolls, so it'd be harder for him, but that he tries.
He tries.
He's got electronics repair, but as I said, I don't think that he would do the repair. He more tells people how to do
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
And mechanical repair. And he's got 6 points in flying leap, so he can drive over chasms.
Fair enough.
And that's it. That's Carl Carson.
Nice.
But that's a testament to the sort of shit you can make in GURPS.
And it works.
For making superheroes, I know I went for something stupid, but I'm just saying, if you wanted to make something serious, if you could make that,
If you can make a car that talks, then you can make anything.
if you can make a depressed, spiky car that talks and
It's quite good at diplomacy.
right, that's my point. That is the sort of shit, and that's basic GURPS. Right.
Yeah.
If you even had the I've got the Mecha book here. I didn't even crack that open to make that.
Wow,
And that's
okay.
what I'm saying. Like, if you think about if you were doing a serious supers game, the sort of type of stuff you could make. It's just ludicrous, mate. I think it's incredible. It's
Yeah.
a testament to how great GURPS would be for a supers game because it's just ludicrous.
Brilliant.
And Nick, how about you, man?
So our little brief was to have a think about some Batman ideas and how we do them ourselves. So what I did was I went for 4 ideas that I like the idea of that could make a good Batman campaign. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give you guys the brief of the game, and you tell me what you think the best system is for it to work. So this idea for Batman is it's a V for Vendetta style future where the good name of Batman has been destroyed, and every petty criminal and street urchin wears a Batman mask in a sadistic mockery of Gotham's old hero. So what you've got like this kind of Gotham's taken a really bad turn. Batman back in the day used to be the hero. He's no longer missing, and every criminal in a sick mockery of what Batman used to stand for now pretty much wears like a V for Vendetta but it's a Batman mask. Taking out crime and stuff. So you start off with this, maybe the party are believers in Batman. Even to talk about Batman in Gotham is seen as bad or is not done anymore.
You're like part of the resistance.
Exactly, and bringing the name of Batman back to try and fight the crime that's taken over Gotham.
I really like that idea.
The odds are against you from the beginning. Do you know what I mean? But maybe, I don't know, there's a secret resistance that still believes in Batman. And there's obviously, there's going to be a lot of fighting, a lot of not so much investigation, more kind of, I don't know, it could even be like group battles, stuff like that, building a resistance.
So I'd probably say you'd use Savage for that.
Definitely Savage for that one.
You reckon?
Definitely.
Yeah, because I think if you're going to be doing a lot of fighting and a lot of tactical battles and things like this, I think that's what you have to go
and
for.
Recruiting, things like that. So I thought that might be quite cool.
The thing that I sort of envisioned about it is you said that it was V for Vendetta style
future.
So it could be that Batman is still there in hiding somewhere.
Could be.
And you run across him somehow.
So basically, Batman's whereabouts unknown. Batman's image destroyed. That's basically the grounding for this game.
Cool.
And I thought that could be fun.
All right, so Nick, you said you had a couple more, so give us another one.
So the other one I thought of, which might be quite interesting, was alternative universe where Batman and Robin were actually test subjects and their DNA has been spliced with actual animals. Think Gen Lab Alpha for influence. So we're talking superheroes, but not just they've actually got they're like mutants.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So there's more to them than just
it's sort of splicing some of the whole X-Men sort of style thing.
So I reckon you could actually use Gen Lab Alpha to do that.
That's what I was thinking, And Batman actually has got wings.
Yeah, he is. So he's actually Batman.
Yeah, I was actually going to say he is an actual Batman.
Yeah, exactly. And then my last one was Young Batman, Teen-tastic adventure style game, and then I would use Bubblegum Shoe for that, and it's like Young Batman.
Oh, so like Teen Titans style.
That's what I was almost thinking of something like that as well.
You could get more backstories of that, so you could do things like how did Joker become how he was, and then you could do a whole story where Joker was a kid and didn't go down that evil path.
You know what you could do if you wanted to go for a more comedy flair? You know when they used to do like Tom and Jerry Kids and things like that?
Exactly.
You could do Batman High School, right?
Exactly.
And at school, Joker's the weird kid who's always scrawling on the desk with a compass.
Exactly. And Batman's the moody emo kid that always wants to wear a mask. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's specifically why I did mention Teen Titans Go on that one. So
On what?
Well, that's what I said. Teen Titans Go was sort of similar to that, where they were all kids in high school.
Oh, right, okay.
I call it Baby Batman, and I would use Bubblegum Shoe for that.
I think
what about Tales from the Loop as well?
Or Tales from the Loop, yeah, exactly.
All right, great ideas, man. I've got another one as well, and you have to hear me out with this one and have a bit of patience, because this is a bit of a stupid one. I don't know about stupid, I think it's good.
It's a bit out there.
Right, Pathfinder.
What?
Okay, so here's how you got to do it, right? You create a normal medieval world, right?
Yeah.
Where the best, rarest fighters in the world are level 1 or 2 maximum.
Okay.
Now, this does work. Now, people that play a lot of Pathfinder or that are new to Pathfinder or perhaps, don't know it that well are gonna think I'm a fucking idiot when I say that. But if you're level 1 or 2, you are, for all intents and purposes, a well-trained, decent fighter, right?
Okay.
You are.
Skilled.
Exactly. The idea is that you've had to train for years to get to that point.
Right.
That is the way it's supposed to work. Okay, you're not level 1 doesn't mean you're shit. Level 1 means you're better than most people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a normal medieval world with no magic, a level 1 or 2 should mean you're the best of the fucking best, right?
Right. Yeah.
So in this world, that's how it is. Okay, so that's what it is.
Yeah.
Now. That's so in a world with no magic, no clerical healing, and a regular medieval life expectancies, most people don't even get to level 3. They just don't. It's really brutal.
Yeah.
Then enter our villains. A wizard. Someone who breaks the long-established rules of the world. There's a
Okay.
rogue unleashing deadly fear toxins in Gotham, known as the Scarecrow. Poison Ivy, a druid who can manipulate plants.
Nice.
Mr. Freeze, a man who discovered the secret behind powerful ice magics. And lastly, the Jester, a bard who doesn't fuck about. He's part rogue, part bard, part gunslinger. He's a chaotic evil monster who makes explosives, toxins, and poisons who will stop at nothing to create chaos.
Awesome.
And as for the players, they could all be classes from the Pathfinder book and ascend to the ranks of the common folk of the world. And that basically represents them having superpowers.
Cool, yeah.
So like most people in the world are only level 3, and then all the players suddenly like, so if you get to like a level 4, 5
You're
fighter,
off the
that
scale.
means
Yeah.
you've got super strength.
Yeah.
If you're a wizard, that means that you've got magical powers akin to people like Enchantress or whatever. And that's basically how it works. So you've discovered the same abilities as the supervillains, and you're the superheroes. And now people are going to think you're like them. So
Okay,
you need to then have a secret identity, and you've become a superhero in this
Which
Pathfinder
harks back
medieval
to
world.
the classic superhero formula. Love it.
So that's how I've done it. So you need to basically keep yourself secret, or you're going to be banished or killed.
Like it.
basically, and
It's a bit of an out there idea, but I think it works.
I think it would. I think it'd be fucking great.
It's got legs, man, definitely.
Well, the reason that I thought of it was because when I remember somebody talking about how they'd play a Batman-style character in Pathfinder once before. I can't remember who it was.
Oh, wow.
But it was because they played a rogue, but the way they played it was that they essentially were an item-based rogue.
Okay,
So
yeah.
all they did was essentially have they bought you can get those belts in Pathfinder
Like
that have
Batman's
the pouches.
gadgets. Yeah.
And all they did was
Nice.
have alchemist fire, jars of poison, all types of that kind of shit, and they would just chuck it down.
It's really cool.
And they would have grappling hook and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
it was basically a gadget based rogue.
Wicked.
And so I was thinking that got me thinking about that, and I was just like, shit, how would I do Batman in Pathfinder? And I was like, I think we had to have like one really out there suggestion so that people know you can actually really do this in any setting.
Totally.
Gotham into fucking Pathfinder.
Brilliant. Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
The setting itself of Gotham can be adapted into so many different things, I think.
Well,
It's
we've
just
given
sort
it
of
like
Pathfinder,
it's-
Savage Worlds.
It's essentially like every city in America, pretty much, with like crime and sort of stuff like that, isn't it? So it's
Racist.
sort of- no, not exactly.
But it's just that essentially it's a corrupt city.
Yeah.
And you need to put some big villains in there and have some dark heroes. That's what it needs.
That's what it is. That's the only ingredients you need. What you make of it from then onwards, do what you like. It's still Batman. Loosely
Right,
based on
yeah,
Batman.
right,
It's brilliant.
exactly.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, so that wraps it up. What I want to hear from the listeners, maybe next time, if you want to send us some ideas for how you would do a Batman campaign,
Bat-do?
give us a bat-do
Yeah.
and let us know what you would bat-do.
What would you bat-do?
So, hope that helps out, listeners. Goodbye. Next
Goodbye.
up, we got an adventure call. Let's get on with it.
Oh, yes. I haven't had one of these for a while. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am.
In a land far beyond your imagining, adventure waits. And down beneath you will find things that you never dreamed of seeing. Goblins, orcs, treasures, mountains of gold. Will you be brave enough to delve deep and beat the final boss of the dungeon? This is Adventure Calls, available for $49.99.99. Available at all good retailers.
So we know prank calls are pathetic and we know
Childish.
cheap comedy.
Yeah.
But
They're funny.
we're going to do one now.
Because we like them.
So, I've been reading Ravenloft recently.
Yeah.
And Janta, one of the main characters of the first book, right, of the novels, he got trapped in like Ravenloft.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I was thinking, how would he get home? So I called a taxi
What, to his
company.
mum? Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Good evening, Blue Arrow.
Hello, my name is Janda Sunstar. I require a carriage.
A carriage?
Yes. And it needs to be post haste. Well, I'm glad you asked, actually, because I was out wandering in Waterdeep, and a strange mist came along, and then suddenly I found myself in a place called Ravenloft. Do you know how to get here?
Where?
Ravenloft?
No, I'm not familiar. You're going to have to explain that for me.
Well, it's kind of it's got some people call it the demi-plane of dread. It's hell, but not for me. You see, there was this gentleman called Strahd, and he became a terrible kind of being, and then his wife died, and so these horrible gods who lord over the demi-plane of dread kind of torture him endlessly by keeping him alive and making him see the death of his wife over and over and over again. Do you follow?
And what can I do for you?
And what can I do for you?
I just require passage from Ravenloft back to Waterdeep, please.
Have you got a postcode?
WD1.
W.
D1.
Yes.
And then the rune for water.
Pardon?
And then the rune for water.
I don't understand what you mean.
The symbol, the rune for water, the elven rune for water.
I don't have that symbol.
Have you a typewriter in front of you?
Could you spell that for me?
Yes.
I didn't quite get that. Could you say that again? One more time, please. Okay. Thanks for your call.
No, you must send a carriage. There are skeletons here that walk. Oh dear.
Skeletons here that walk. Very good. That's a good one. Can I have a postcode? Oh my god.
So I haven't got to the end of that novel yet, but I think Jander's fucked.
Yeah, can't get carriage.
He's getting home. He's not getting home.
No, definitely not.
Bravo, very good.
That's a great one.
That's come back with a bang.
Yeah. All right. Well, next up we've got a Chamber of Challenges.
Hell yeah.
Hooray!
Let's go.
Woo!
Welcome to the Chamber of Challenges. Chamber of Challenges. The Chamber of Challenges. Chamber of Challenges. The Chamber of Challenges.
All right. So who was to go first? You both got a challenge, right?
I am indeed.
Okay. So Nick, let's hear your one first.
Okay, right. So we're bringing it back, baby. We're bringing it back for 2018.
We're going back to a classic, right?
Oh yeah, we're going Dragon or Blagging. Yes, so we're doing Dragon or Blagging, and we are doing Shadowrun Dragon or Blagging this time round.
Nice.
So explain to the listeners what Dragon.
What Dragon or Blagging is there's a question with 4 answers. One's the correct answer, the rest is bullshit. And you guys got to work out which one is the real one.
Nice.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay, so how should we do this? Should we ask a question each, or are you both going to confer?
No. Me and Peter will try and figure out what the right one is.
Okay, wicked. Right, first of all, which of these is the real Shadowrun weapon? Is it the Shoot It VX/789, the MZ88-1, the Predator 2, or the Avenger 8810?
I know this one.
I'm going with the MZ.
I know it though.
Go on.
It's the Predator 2.
Yeah, well done.
Okay.
Sorry, man.
Well done. Well done.
You know Shadowrun a bit too well.
This is what I was thinking. So,
Yeah, sorry, but this is Shadowrun Second, which I haven't played.
And I've tried
yet,
to dig deep on some of these, so we
Okay.
might get it. I might catch you out, might not. Okay, well done. 1 point. Right, next question is, in Shadowrun, the word whizworm is slang for what? Is it a junkie, a dragon, a merrow, or a penis?
What's a merrow?
A merrow's like a mermaid type critter.
Oh, right.
Well, I reckon it's a junkie, right? Because whiz means cocaine, right?
It does, yeah.
But then they don't have coke. Do they have cocaine? Yeah, they do have cocaine in the book.
I think they do, yeah.
Whizworm. Should we go for whizworm, Pete, or what do you think? Or dragon? Whizworm. No, because nobody would dare fuck off a dragon in Shadowrun.
I don't know. Could sound like a penis.
Would they have that in the book, though, do you think?
They have everything in Shadowrun, so maybe.
They'd poke me right in the eye with his whizworm.
That's why I think it would work.
Alright, we're going penis.
You're going penis, are you? Incorrect.
Damn.
It's a dragon.
Really?
Yes.
Fuck off.
It is indeed.
Wow.
Yep, whizworm is a slang word for dragon. In Shadowrun 2nd edition, there's a whole page for slang.
Okay.
I'm nicking that.
Nice. Okay, so nil point on that one. Next one. Name the real piece of cyberware from Shadowrun. biometric regulation module, car key finder circuit HD, data transmodule input system circuit, or crypto circuit HD. Get out of it. Get out of it.
I was just looking in the Shadow Tech book.
I'm going to go with C.
Yeah, data module thingy.
Data transmodule input system circuit.
Yes.
That's bullshit, man.
Damn
I
it.
just made that up.
It sounds really plausible.
I thought it might.
Son of a bitch.
It's a crypto circuit HD.
What does it do?
I can't remember. I didn't read it.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
was just going through the cyberware.
Great
from my birthday present. Thank you very much.
Yeah, don't worry about it. And no, I think it's
Christmas present. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Next one. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Name the real intrusion countermeasure, or IC for short.
Yep.
Shoot and loot.
Yep.
Terminator.
Yep.
Tar baby.
Yep.
Or hold tight.
Tar baby. What do you think? No, what do you think, Pete?
So do you know what intrusion countermeasures are, Pete?
Yeah, they're for,
Please explain.
They're for hacking, anti-hacking.
Okay. So it can't be a shoot and loot then, can it?
Shoot and loot, Terminator, Tar baby, or hold tight.
I think because they it might be tar baby because it's like trying to stop the person from moving through. Because the Matrix in Shadowrun is represented by. If you remember that episode of Futurama where they go into the internet and they're running about and shit, it's kind of like that, but a little less flashy looking.
The only thing that I would say is maybe B, Terminator, because there is, like, in computer programming software, there is a Terminator program, isn't there?
I'm gonna have to push you.
All right, Terminator.
Yep.
Wrong.
Damn it.
Tar baby.
Fuck! Fuck's sakes! Should go with your answers. You're more knowledgeable.
Well done. Tar baby is a grey ice, I believe. So you have white ice, grey ice, and black ice.
Yes. Yes. That makes sense.
So sorry, guys. And finally, last one. Name the 2 real critters from Shadowrun.
Yeah.
Facebiter, Eye Killer, Leashy, Rexion, or Feathered Reptilian.
I reckon I'd probably go with the simple one here because I think the weird ones are going to be the ones that Nick made up. So I think we should probably go Feathered Reptilian.
Yeah, I think so.
And there's 2 in this one. You want them again? One more time?
Yes, please.
Facebiter, Eye Killer, Leashy, Rexion, or Feathered Reptilian.
See, I think personally, right, I'm going to go deep on this one, but I think that personally, right, there's going to be, I think, Feathered Reptilian, then the first 2 are very similar, so I think it's going to be one of the first 2, because Nick's tried to make one that sounds similar to the other one.
Yeah.
So I think it's Eye Killer and Feathered Reptilian.
We'll go with that.
One right.
What's the other one?
The correct answers are Eye Killer and Leashy.
So I was right with my prediction. I just got the wrong one.
You're well done with the Feathered Reptilian. That was a little bit of a thing. There is actually a feathered. I think it's a feathered. What's the word for a snake?
Snake.
Oh, anyway, but it's very similar. I just changed it to reptilian rather than whatever the snake word. I can't remember now. But well done. You was nearly there. I don't know how many points you scored because we don't keep count, but that was Dragon or Dragon.
Yeah,
that's
well
pretty
done.
Thank you very much,
Good
guys.
quiz,
Enjoyed
man.
that.
Well done.
Very good.
Roll dice. Have full sexual intercourse. Play Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Do a butt sex.
So,
PD.
my challenge is this is inspired by the end of year discussion, you guys, and this is a little bit of shout out to Richard Walcott because he's been best damn Goblin game of the last 2 years. So
hello.
what I want you two to do is give me your 30-second elevator pitch that's going to beat his game for a Goblin game.
Oh, Jesus.
What the hell, man? You really dropped this on us.
Wow.
Oh, what? Pete, you... okay, right, we need a bit of thinking time. Okay, right, we got a 30 seconds thinking time. Okay, I got one.
Go for Harrison.
Okay, mine's called Goblin Mum. Alright?
Go on.
You're a Goblin Mum. Okay?
Yep.
You've killed... You've gone through a portal, okay, from a fantasy land. You come in on a family, right? And you see there is a hard-working mum. She comes back from her office job. She gets back from before the whole rest of the family, and you kill the mum because you're a goblin.
Okay.
And you kill, right? But then you see the rest of the family come home, right? You quickly put on the dress. and or whatever she's wearing at the time, and
Bit lippy.
bit lippy, and you have to live out the family life without the family ever figuring out that Goblin Mum is not the previous mum. You go to her job, you do the office job.
Oh my god,
Right,
brilliant.
you do all of this stuff, and you have to live this life for as long as possible. Goblin Mum, a solo role-playing game.
I just can't get this
Brilliant.
image out of my head now of, Gremlins 2, when they
Yeah.
get spliced with, like, thingy, there's that woman one that's got the lipstick and the little
Yeah.
dress and stuff. I just can't picture that now.
Right,
I get
so
that
yeah.
picture out of my head.
Goblin Mum, a solo
Mum.
role-playing game. Also, there's the expansion. If you want to play more family members are killed, and you have to keep it up.
Goblin
Nice.
family.
Yeah, there's Goblin Family as well. It's the expansion coming soon.
I like
Okay.
it. Nice.
I'm going to call my game the Upper Crust of Goblinia. And basically, in this game, you play imps. And goblins are actually seen as high society. And hated by imps because imps are lower in the pecking order in this world to goblins. And actually, in this world, it's turned on its head because the goblins are almost like the upper crust, the classy poshos in comparison to the imps. And yeah, you don't like them too much, and you hate the goblins, and you play a bunch of angry imps.
And so, what you have to get to you have to try and become overthrow him.
Yeah, overthrow them and take over. Yeah.
Okay, so it's
Okay.
like Saga of the Imp Horde.
yeah. It's the same game with the serial numbers filed off.
I like it.
Nice.
Well, if there's any one way to beat him, it's to nick the idea.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look at Fortnite. It's better than Battle Royale.
Good bit
no,
of
wait.
plagiarism.
Battle Royale? Battlegrounds.
Battlegrounds.
Yeah, true.
All right, so
Thanks for that, Pete. Woo!
Pete, so
sweat away.
who's the winner?
We're going to leave this to the listeners.
All right, so who wins? Is it Upper Crust of Goblinia or Goblin Mum?
For me, Goblin Mum.
Yeah, I would say Goblin
I
Mum.
love it.
All right, cool.
Nice challenge, Pete.
In the future, you will be able to send a letter from anywhere on the planet. This is the future. This is the Electro Letter.
This is Electro Letters, and we asked you for your tales of when you knew the GM was trying to fuck you over. We got a lot of responses to this one. You guys have had some. We wanted you to share this, let it all out.
Yeah.
We want to be your psychiatrists.
Exactly, yeah. We channel it out through us, you know what I mean?
A bit of therapy for you today.
So first up, we had one from Gaming Ronin. Not sure if this counts as screwing me over, but I'll throw it out there anyway. Many, many more years than I'd care to count, years ago in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness game, the GM kept making us fail at everything, but his Samurai Rabbit NPC would run in and rescue us. Getting tired of it, I turned on the NPC after he took something from my character. Long story short, after a pitch battle with him staying just beyond my character's reach, I followed the NPC through a portal he made, where I was quickly surrounded by 100 samurai rabbits that all looked the same with weapons drawn. I got my books together and walked out. After that, I only GM'd for the next 28 years. Didn't sit at the table as a player again until a year and a half ago in my brother's 5e D&D game.
We got burnt.
Yeah, he was
Jesus.
bloody upset by that.
But then, to be fair, if I was surrounded by samurai rabbits, then I'd be a bit upset too.
Yeah, I know that definitely does count, because the DM was like, you're not killing my NPC.
No.
There's 100 rabbits surrounding you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
What a prick.
Oh, mate, it's like it's an NPC. It's not a character. But it's my character. I'm the GM. Fuck.
That
No.
is a symptom of, when the DM wants to play, because sometimes you want to get a group together, but you have to be the DM, but you really want to be the player.
Yeah. But then your NPC that's part of the party is probably the most influential one out of it because you want to be a character.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's
You've got to know that difference. You've got
Yeah.
to know that difference. If you're the GM, you're the world. That's
Yeah.
what you've got to remember. You've got to be an impartial world, not a person.
not a guy who's doing all the cool stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I never felt like when I was DMing Batman that I ever wanted to be a part of that. I just was having fun, you guys creating this world with me.
Well, that's how I feel. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but what I enjoy the most is like, when you're a GM, it's like, it's almost like you've got a fishing rod, you sling it out over your GM screen, and you just see what bites. And the fun in that is seeing what the character, your players give back to you. Not,
Are they
appreciate
going to
what
punch the
I've done.
fish?
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
they vegetarian?
Yeah, exactly. But it's that, and then and that's what I get the most enjoyment out of, is just literally keeping my mouth shut sometimes and just watching the roleplay unfold. Okay, next one's in from Stephen Dragonspawn, and he says, I once played in a friend's cyberpunk game where my character died when another player shot mine. We were role-playing some tension between the characters, and the GM did nothing to help my character survive. saying that the EMTs never made it in time to revive him. Found out later from another fellow player that said GM wanted me out of his game for some obscure reason that I still don't quite grasp, and had written an entire scenario to kill off my character, but never needed to use it since the other player shot me. Oh, that's
What an
sad,
arsehole.
isn't it? Yes.
Yep.
Oh, Stevie.
I don't get why. Yeah, but then
Cool, you've got to be really upset to write a whole fucking story arc just to kill someone.
yeah. In addition to that, right in our group, if a character dies, we'll just roll them up another one.
Yeah.
So presumably in Stefan's game, the GM was going to go, sorry mate, your character dies, you have to leave the group.
You're out, mate.
Well, that's
Can't I
hard.
just make another character? No. One character each.
You know, it's a paper issue.
More out of paper.
Yeah, I've got a paper. Sorry.
It sounds like the Big Brother house
Lost
of
the
fucking
dice.
table games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
So-
character is dead. Please leave the house.
So can't I roll up another character? No.
No dice, mate, sorry.
No dice, no paper, no
paper,
ink.
no
Sorry,
character
see you
sheet.
later. All right, next up, we got one from Patrick Greenlaw. He says, I was in an old school red box D&D game playing through the Isle of Dread. There were 3 players and the DM was running an NPC character. We were all level 4 characters. I was playing an elf. The DM was playing what he said was a new class in a supplement called Creature Crucible. Come to find out, he was playing a werewolf character. The DM's character was level 4 as well, but had double the hit points and nearly 3 times the damage we could do.
What?
He kept throwing crap at us that only his character could handle. When we all bought silver daggers, he suddenly went off script and found us, and we found ourselves at a den of werefolk. TPK.
Oh, no way.
When we asked basically what the hell, he just said, I didn't like that you were planning on killing my character. Just as a side note, we got the silver daggers because he would throw lycanthropes at us at every time. We wanted to be able to participate in the fights too.
Fairly enough.
So they weren't even planning to kill his character.
But he just got the shakes because he's like, what do you mean you're going to buy silver daggers?
Silver daggers?
You know, just
I
I
like
like
the-
silver, don't I? Well, I don't.
What a dick.
Oh, you
that's
motherfuckers
annoying,
buying
yeah.
no silver daggers. I better make sure I kill you off.
That's
Yeah.
really annoying.
What an arse.
The next one has come in from Eli Kurtz. I don't think I've ever had a GM actively, maliciously try to screw me or the party over, but 2 moments came close. Number 1, in a dungeon crawl, the GM generated a puzzle room for us to solve, but there was absolutely no hints or tools available for us to solve the puzzle. We spent so much frustrating time in that room. After the session, the GM said the solution was for you all to try every option and still fail. I realise now it wasn't a good idea. Sorry.
So there was no answer.
No, they literally couldn't. It was an unsolvable puzzle.
Yeah. And the second part of that is when I was in high school, a guy offered to run me through a 1-player campaign so he could have material to write a novel afterwards. Sounds like your boss, Harrison.
Yeah.
He offered me such in-character riches, but said he had a really strict plot in mind. Enough said, am I right?
So I was about to respond to this on Google Plus, and I was like, so what was the point in running the campaign? Did he just not know how to write dialogue? Is that it? Because if he had,
I want to read you a story.
if he already had a strict plot in mind,
Yeah.
then why did he? What was the point in running the fucking game?
It's not a game, is it?
I definitely think he wanted to sort of take the interaction he had with this player and go, okay, this is my dialogue for my book.
Yeah,
Fine.
pretty much. Next one comes in from Richard Woolcock. He says, how about a story from the GM perspective? I was running Necessary Evil, and one of the PCs kept turning invisible and wiping everyone out with ranged attacks. She conjured little black holes in the midst of the enemy. It was brutal. After the second or third time she used the tactic, some of the enemy troops started wearing thermal goggles so they could see her when she was invisible. In my defense, the enemy leaders were supposed to be smart and were known for adapting their tactics, particularly when fighting supers. The PCs were also pretty high profile and made no attempt to hide their powers. After the combat, I told the player she could wear a special suit to hide her body heat in the future, so the enemy wouldn't be able to use the same tactic again. But it did turn into a bit of an arms race. The enemy would react to the PC's tactics and try to come up with countermeasures for their next fight with varied degrees of success.
I like that.
Yeah, to
So
me
do I.
that sounds fair.
That sounds fun and fair.
Yeah, because I think that the enemies, if they're smart and they're fighting the same enemy,
They will be
sh-
adaptive.
They should
Yeah, of
react.
course.
Of course they should.
It's their job. If they're like military or, that's the tactics is their job. They've got to evolve. Of course
I
they
don't think that, to me, that doesn't sound like the GM fucking over the player.
No.
That sounds like people fighting realistically.
People would adapt to situations they would see, and if these player characters are not particularly brazen about showing their powers, then obviously they're going to react to that.
Precisely.
So I don't think Richard's done anything wrong there.
No,
I
not
think
at all.
he's done the right thing.
I like that. Yeah, I like what Rich done there.
Right, next one we got in from Owen Lean. It's quite a long one, but it's a good one, so hear me out, guys.
Wicked.
So my first gaming group were the firm belief that the GM and players were enemies. Off to a bad start already.
Yep.
It was the GM's job to fuck the players any way he could. It was thus the players' job to ignore the plot and spend the game trying to outwit the GM, get as much goob as they could and stockpile XP. This would usually end in arguments as the players, except myself, would get progressively more stoned. So we were playing Deadlands one time and we all rock up to a random town as we did at the beginning of every game. Being heroes in a western, we would do what comes natural and head into the local saloon, which funnily enough looked exactly the same as every other saloon we'd been to. As did the town for that matter. This was due to the GM only owning one map and refusing to create or even roughly draw any one of his own. So we enter the saloon and notice a bunch of buckaroos just sitting around an old table playing poker. So we go to get a drink and the saloon owner says they've been playing for days, ever since old Whistling Pete Jim Bob Facebeard died as the third victim of a string of mysterious and gruesome murders. I want to find out more about these murders. After all, strange things appear afoot and surely this is of the most interest. However, before we leave, one of the other characters asks the card sharps what they're playing for. The GM thinks quickly and says, he doesn't say, but you notice a horseshoe on the wall. Immediately, the huckster shouts Detect Arcana and rolls well. The GM says that he notices the horseshoe glows magical. The player then declares player meeting and shoves us all out into the bathroom to talk without the GM hearing. This happens a lot with this group.
What?
The other players decided that clearly the horseshoe must be lucky and would give us an extra Benny. We had to get it. The game thus turned into a 3-hour-long attempt to get the horseshoe.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Completely ignoring the plot. They tried waiting the night to steal it, but the barman was apparently sleeping behind the counter and woke up whenever anyone entered, no matter what they rolled on stealth or otherwise.
Smells
They
like bullshit
tried
to me.
fighting a mock duel outside, only for someone who had apparently been sleeping upstairs to come down to catch the character trying to steal the horseshoe the moment their hands were on
Oh,
it.
come on.
Whatever plan the players tried to come up with, the GM had some random implausible thing to stop them no matter what. Now, it wasn't because he was trying to get them onto the plot, I was trying to pursue the plot, and he was pretty much ignoring me. He was doing it while laughing, because as far as he was concerned, that was his job, and it was funny. It wasn't funny.
It definitely isn't.
Meanwhile, 2 of the other card players have mysteriously died in gruesome ways, but the PCs pay this no attention. Instead, they steal every horse in town, ride them into the wilderness, kill them all, chop off their fucking feet, and take the horseshoes back into town, then throw them all in a big pile in the saloon in the hopes of knocking off the horseshoe on the wall and getting it lost into the mess of the shoes on the floor.
Genius.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, I like that.
This, of course, doesn't work either.
Fuck off.
So, without any other plan, the PCs just go on a murder spree. They head into the saloon, guns blazing and war axe chopping for one player, kill the barman and the card players, and then, when the noise brings the sheriff over, turn over the tables and begin a massive shootout. In the end, they murdered everyone in the entire town, literally everyone, including women and children, because otherwise they'll grow up into a recurring villain to get revenge. Somewhere among the murdering, one of the NPCs yells, "No, I'm the one doing the murdering," which the other players decided meant they had solved the plot.
Fair enough.
As the town burned and the bodies lined the street, the PC that had originally seen the horseshoe triumphantly took it off the wall. The GM then announced, "Congratulations, you have a horseshoe." The players asked what it gave them. The GM said nothing. The players said, "But it's magical." The GM said, "No, it isn't." The players insisted it was magical when they looked before. The GM said, "It isn't anymore."
What?
And then declared, "Actually, it was magical, but because of your evil deeds, it's now cursed. You all lose a Benny." He found this hilarious and was unable to stop laughing for about 5 minutes. Arguments began, at which point I went home. Thankfully, shortly afterwards, I discovered that there were other people in the world who played role-playing games and left that group forever.
Hooray, good for you, Owen.
What a crock of shit.
That is
I would be furious.
I
if that
would
happened.
be livid.
I would be absolutely furious if that happened. That's ridiculous.
I'd never go back to that group
Because
again.
you've been really bad, it's now cursed.
What?
Oh, fuck you.
It was just a dick move. It was out of world, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a term that's not thrown around enough. But there's out of character, and then there's a GM acting out of world.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And we've got our own
Playing
story.
God. Yeah.
We've got our own story about this that we're going to tell a bit later, aren't
Yeah.
we? But one of the things that I did was I put this out to Reddit, and because that story was so long, we'll probably just pick a couple of these.
Okay.
But Pete, if you want to read the one by Evil D.
Evil D says, it's a long story and not very compelling, so I will keep it short. Our party needed to stop a city from flooding. The GM's first part of the adventure required my character to use almost half of his magic to get into the entrance of a deep pit, which was guarded by 2 Brew.
They're
Sorry.
like goat people.
Okay. Once at the bottom, I attacked from surprise, gluing the feet of the creatures to the ground and attacking his back. That's a really smart move.
Yeah.
The first one I attacked blocked the attack.
From behind him.
No, nice.
Once we were done arguing about the incident, my character ran away and flew back to the top of the pit. I told the rest of the party that I could not fly them all down, and there was not enough rope to lower the party, so we abandoned the adventure. Our GM took it personally and rage quit, but not before he had stated that the nearby city was flooded, and other than what we had had on our back was ruined or underwater. We still refer to this event as a marker on the timeline of events in the world. The Great Flood of Pavis is still remembered among our gaming group. Years later, he gave his books to one of the players, and it was revealed that the notes for the adventure consisted of a single, non-sensible sentence.
That was his whole campaign.
Yeah, and his whole campaign consisted of trying to get the wizard to do everything during the first 5 minutes of the game and fucking everyone.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Okay, so the next one is from Cartoon Lad, and he says, a player in my game left after his character, a dwarf, stepped outside and was actually struck by lightning because he didn't ask about the weather that morning. Wow. Okay. It struck the dwarf. Not the multi-storey inn near the centre of town, any of the other buildings, iron fences or gates, or any of the dozen of other people outside who were taller than 4 foot. You didn't ask if it was raining. Oh, okay, so yeah. So if you don't ask what the weather's like, you get struck by lightning.
Right,
Know that.
I've got to remember to ask about the weather every time I leave a
ridiculous.
building now.
Right, and we'll do one last one from Reddit. This guy called Fugitive Frequency comes in and he says, very long story made very short. As a newbie player, I was asked to play a cleric in my new group. Never played one before, but I went through the Pantheon book and picked a new Death God. I get crappy rolls, but I dig spellcasting, so I keep going with it. Bonus to the Death God is that he hates undead and provides major buffs when fighting undead. Didn't mean shit to me, but it turns out our DM was an undead fanatic. So when I crush some heavies he throws at us, he demands that I nerf the bonuses because I'm ruining the game.
Oh, shut up.
Oh
I
my
point
God.
out that I'm just playing with the rules I was given, but okay, fine. Next adventure, he says, forget it. Do what you gotta do. And we start. First encounter, we run into a poison cleric with archers who make his religion check, which began a pattern of my character's religion making him a target in every single encounter, with me getting dragged down to 2 HP right at the start and being unable to do anything except heal myself and struggle to stay alive.
What?
I tried to keep playing, but left shortly thereafter when it became clear that the pattern was specifically designed to make me quit. Side note, this was the same DM who targeted my fighter's naturally rolled 18 strength back in AD&D 2nd edition with a vampire stat killer because I was too strong and made encounters no fun for his sadistic ass.
Make the fucking enemy stronger then.
Or make your
Jesus.
encounters actually fun.
Yeah.
I mean, the point is that it's not all about, like, steamrolling. What you've got to do is maybe have something for the fighter to do over here while the other guys are doing something over here. You know, if all your encounters are so easy that the fighter can steamroll them, I mean, the fact of the matter is that the fighter or whatever the cleric, and if you're only fighting undead and your cleric is using turn undead constantly, why don't you have the fucking necromancer at the back
Oh, no,
be
do
flinging
something
some
different.
other spells, you know?
exactly.
And maybe the necromancer's got some bandit buddies that he hired because he's rich.
Yeah.
Fuck me, it's not that fucking hard. This guy's a fucking moron.
No, I like undead, so I only use undead.
He sounds like a bit of an idiot GM, to be honest.
Yeah, bad encounters. Though we got loads more on the Reddit, and they were really actually immensely funny responses. But the dwarf getting struck by lightning for not asking what the weather was like, that's beautiful.
That's definitely one of my favourites.
That's a classic.
We had two general questions as well. We'll get to those, but first off, we wanted to share a story, didn't we?
Yes,
because we've got a story about being effed over by a GM, and I think we've shared this on the podcast before, but we've never got into specifics about it. Now, Morgan, one of our listeners, he told me about it, and we shared it during our GM mistakes episode.
Oh, yes,
which was one that you had Peter was on before.
Yeah.
So we want to tell the story about the arena and the genie.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I don't know if we're going to tell this because James isn't here, and I don't know if he'll admit to this, but look, we're going to put it this way. When people that are first-time GMs, they make mistakes, and I'm willing to bet every single person in all these Reddit things and all the people in these responses were either new, first-time, they were having a bad day, something like this.
I made loads of fuck-ups in my first
Oh,
campaign.
mate.
Oh, my God.
I said this to you on our group the other day, Nick, on our WhatsApp group. I said, the fact of the matter is, with those mistakes that people make, right, you should have seen my first games.
Yeah.
It wasn't mistakes. It was unplayable.
Okay.
And I'm telling
that
you
bad.
Yeah, genuinely. I never had a campaign that lasted more than 3 sessions.
Wow,
I'm telling you, it was unplayably bad. None of my mates liked role-playing games.
Come a long way since then. Look
I'm
at
telling
GURPS,
you.
like 3/4 of a year.
Right, exactly. My point is that when I tell this story, I want pretty much people to be aware of that. And when people are sharing these stories, that's what it's like.
Yeah.
So, we're both going to tell this story, but
Yeah.
the point is that, so, it starts off, we went into an arena, right? This was a little side quest that James had cooked up. We were playing a Pathfinder game that was based on Hannibal, and it was all about investigation,
It was
right?
in modern time, and it was modern, wasn't it?
It had modern trappings to it, so they had like these magi batteries that could power things like cars.
And we were part of like a forensic science crime team and stuff.
Right, exactly. And there was technology in it, but it was like magi technology. So you had things like cars, telephones,
Really cool.
things
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But imagine like Magic Punk. It was kind of like that.
Yeah.
So the kind of thing was that as a side quest to this, we went to this arena, right? And there were two things that I immediately noticed. Right, first off, right, my character was a wizard, and I always pick the sleep spell. So the way it works, Pete, is in Pathfinder. Magic, it's not like Savage Worlds where you have spells and you have them permanently, right?
Yep.
You pick your spells every morning when you wake up. You inscribe them into your spell book, and then you have to sort of do that for an hour, and then those are your spells for the day.
Okay.
And you use them up throughout the day.
Yeah.
You get one of those spells or 3 of those spells or whatever, how many you've
You had
scribed
to
into a
write
spell
them,
book.
didn't you? And I was a druid, so I had to meditate every morning. Or pray basically, to get
Pretty
my
much.
spells. Yeah.
I really like that system for
It's
Magic,
cool,
actually.
but like pretty much 100% of the time I would put sleep in there. 100% of the time, because it's handy. People will have to will save against it.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to take that gamble, because if you put somebody to sleep and then
magical sleep as well. Yeah,
you
mate.
can just wail on them until they're dead.
Yeah.
So we go to the arena. First thing we have to fight is a griffin, right? Which is
yeah.
way over our power level because we're only level 1, right? But we put that fucker to sleep, and then with a staff and like whatever, we had this like arena gear that was given to us,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And we start wailing on it, we kill it. Funnily enough, after that, every single monster we have to fight in the arena is immune to sleep. Weird, that, isn't it? Right, second, right, then, like, what happens is we're walking out the arena, Pete, and...
Victorious.
Yeah,
Pretty
victorious.
happy with that.
Yeah,
yourself.
pretty chuffed.
We go to collect our prize money, we munt everything in the arena.
We walk out, we walk
and
past the front desk.
James asks us an important question. What does he say?
Yeah, he said, do you want to leave now? Are you sure you want to leave? Something like that, anyway.
Yeah.
And we was like, yeah, cool, of course we do. So we walk outside, and then,
We're going to continue our quest.
go to continue our quest. I think someone was going to grab something out of their backpack, whatever, and then James says, you've left your stuff behind. We was like, what?
Huh?
Yes, so we left it all in the arena.
And we say, what the fuck? And he says to us, he goes, well, I asked you if you wanted to leave, and you didn't say you picked up your stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
but
what?
you would naturally pick your stuff up when you leave, though, wouldn't
No, we
you?
didn't say
Right. Yeah, and he goes, well, didn't say it, didn't do it.
Yeah.
And like instantly, me, Sean, and Nick, Nick and I had a few drinks. We were a bit rowdy.
It's like, what? Fuck it, all my gear's gone now. Yeah, weren't happy. Weren't happy at all.
Is this where our ruling of you say you done it has come in?
Well, and
now?
he reversed it, but then he goes, you didn't say it, you didn't do it. And we're like, well, all right, James,
We'll go back in and get our stuff.
Yeah, and so we go back in and get our stuff, and he goes, well, legally you left the arena, and it's now property of the arena. You've lost all of your stuff.
He's like, but it's right on the shelf behind the counter. Can we just not take it back? We couldn't. No, that was it. It was gone. It was gone.
So
all of our gear was gone.
So we came up with a plan. Pretty much me and Nick and Sean, right? It was just the three of us. I'm a wizard, Nick's a druid, Sean's a cleric, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
So we go out to the arena, and I say to these guys, right, I still have my spells. I can still cast those because my spell component is a magic ring, right? So I'm still wearing that, thankfully.
Yeah.
So I go outside, and I cast Flaming Hands on a bin.
On a bin, that's it. We set fire to a bin.
Set fire to a bin, right? And you know, like how if you don't ask for the weather, you get struck by lightning, right? Apparently, if you set fire to a bin, a genie appears.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, mate.
Right, so a level fucking 5 genie appears, and all the guards to the arena, and we don't have our gear. No armour, no weapons, no fucking nothing. And James goes, a genie appears, right? Yeah, and James's face is like, he knows that what he's trying to do, but he's pretending. Right?
Oh, okay.
What he wants us to do is he's like,
Go away,
fuck off,
mate.
you're not getting your stuff back.
Submit, yeah. We're like, nah, mate. We want our stuff.
Yeah.
Come hell or high water, we want our stuff back.
How many sessions were you in at this point?
This was what?
2. That was 2. That was session 2.
Oh, okay.
We were still level 1.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
We had to fly a fucking genie.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And he goes,
And we did.
No, and so what James did is he goes right, guys, I'll be back in a sec. I'm going for a piss. And while he was having a piss, me, Sean, and Nick were like, he wants us to leave, right, and get back. And so we go, but we have to get our stuff back. So we start scheming, and we're like, we have to fight this fucking thing. We've got 4 guards in front of us, right? They've got to be at least level 2, at least, right? Yeah. And then we got a level 5 genie, right? This is an impossible fight, but there's no way we're gonna let him just take
We ain't
our
going
stuff.
out like that. Yeah,
No.
yeah.
So we stayed, we fought, and what happened is we used like the most vile tactics we could, right?
Yeah.
We would grab a guy, use him as a meat shield, steal his weapon.
God, yeah.
We'd do everything we could, right?
Yeah.
And so what we did is we took out all the guards first, right, to make sure that we weren't taking 5 attacks per round. Then we focused on the genie. Now, as soon as the genie was the last one left, we saw James start reading the bestiary, right?
Then the genie zips out of existence.
Right, and he goes, the genie turns invisible.
Yeah.
Okay.
We was like, what? What do you mean? And then he could still talk, right? Or something. I think he was winding us up or something. I can't quite remember, but he was like behind us, or we didn't know where he was. He was invisible.
But up to this point, right, the genie's pretty much immune to every spell that I have. So up to this point, my character was pretty much useless.
Yeah.
I think that was part of the reason he chose that enemy, because he was immune to so many spells.
Oh, mate, it was a tough fight.
So, now my character kind of had a purpose, because we had 2 guys that were okay at hitting in Nick's character and Sean's character, and my guy was useless. But now this guy was invisible. I start throwing dirt around, right, every round.
That's it.
yeah.
I just started throwing dirt like a mad cunt, and like,
Try and get a silhouette of him.
yeah,
Very
and
nice.
it worked pretty much every time. And we beat the everlasting fuck out of this genie. 2 rounds in the combat, I went down. Sean used, I think it was cure light wounds or healing
Yeah,
or whatever.
oh my God,
something
yeah.
like that. But
Yeah.
2 rounds, I went down. 2 rounds, I got back up, and we healed. We went down. We were on like 1, 2, and 2 hit points by the end.
Somehow we had managed to get together some kind of explosive. I can't remember how we had managed it, but it was some tactics and like all sorts was going on.
Yeah, there was an explosive. I can't remember how we did it, but the very, very last thing that we did is that Nick's filled his bag full of explosives.
Yeah.
And
We managed to get that
he
into
filled
the other
our bag.
dimension.
It wouldn't have been your bag, but it was a bag. And I
Yeah.
can't remember where we got it from, but we filled a bag that we got from somewhere. Might have been some people picnicking or something like
Started a
this.
fire
Do you
somehow.
reckon you stole it off one of the guards or something?
Can't really remember.
It was
but
something like this, but we threw it at the genie,
he
exploded
caught it, didn't he? And then done his invisibility and blew up.
yeah, and then blew up. And that was like the final attack on the genie.
Oh, how
I
we
honestly
cheered.
can't remember what it was, but yeah, we really, really fucked this guy up.
Proper cheered. It was
Yeah.
like, yes.
And so basically, essentially what it was is that I think James sort of, let's call it what it is, he was trying to do us, wasn't he?
Didn't want our stuff back.
Yeah, he didn't want us to have our stuff back. He was trying to teach us a little bit of a lesson, and we won an unwinnable fight.
Yeah, we were so pleased with ourselves. We was battered. I can't even remember if we did actually get our stuff back.
And I'm sorry to those that have heard this story twice, but this is sort of in a bit more detail.
It's one of our best battles ever.
Yeah, because we wanted to tell it, because James isn't here, and we sort of we wanted to sort of bring this story out. You could argue, well, why didn't James just put a second genie in there if he didn't want us to win? But I think that what it was is at the time, he thought that we didn't know that he was trying to screw us.
No, yeah.
We did get our stuff back, but what happened was we had to go into the arena, whereupon more guards...
that's when that bit came about.
Yeah, arrested specifically me, and
You
then,
took your clothes
and then
off.
You guys... Yeah, I took my clothes
That's
off
where
to
the
try
wank
and...
came.
Yeah.
He started running around.
But anyway, that's another story for another
story
day.
for another time.
Yeah, so that was one of our greatest victories.
And
But
one of our greatest victories.
we got 2 general questions come in. Jamie Pearson says, general question, how easy is it to use Call of Cthulhu 7th edition rules to play fantasy? What are the general guidelines for making this conversion? Here's how, my brother has done this before.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done it really well, to be fair.
He's done it really well. All he did, I think, was take stats for some of the weapons in the book and change the names of them. Basically, stat up monsters, do them yourself. But what I would do, easiest way, download or buy BRP, Basic Role Playing, and use the monsters from that book. Also use the powers, but use the new rules for 7th edition because they're better, essentially. Because BRP, the combat's quite archaic. Although we've said a few things that are bad about the combat for COC 7th. Just use the stats for the monsters from BRP and use the stats for the weapons from BRP and port those over to 7th. Simple.
Yeah, totally. It's totally be done and done pretty well.
There is a very, very handy thing. What you'll notice is the attributes don't work the same way they did in BRP. There's a very handy conversion tool in COC 7th that you can use to convert BRP stats.
Yeah.
So use that.
And that's not just using the BRP, that's also converting from 6th to 7th.
Yeah, they got you covered, man.
Yeah, exactly.
They got you covered.
So, that is how I would do it. Piece of piss. And the powers are fucking great in BRP as well. So, okay. And the final general question that we had, it's not on the document because we got it during the show.
Oh, okay, yep.
Owen Lean, he just says, why?
Why?
It's the most general question
Love
we've
it.
ever had.
Why not?
Exactly.
There you go.
Good answer.
Take that one home.
Yep. Take that to the bank and cash it.
Yeah, thanks for coming along, Pete. It's been a pleasure to have you,
Thanks
mate.
for having me, guys.
And if you want to get in contact with us, you can.
Why don't you drop us an email, which is tabletoptwats@gmail.com.
Or you can contact us on Twitter, which is @TabletopTwats.
Yeah, or Facebook, which is Tabletop T.
Yep.
Tabletop T. Or you can go over to G+, where we are at Tabletop Twats, or we're on the Nerds International Network also.
Yep.
But of course, if you want to support the show, we are on Patreon, which is /Tabletop Twats.
Sling us a buck if you like what we do.
Yes, please do. We are,
because we really appreciate it, and we recycle all that back into the show.
We certainly do.
Pete, you got anything you want to talk about, mate?
You got anything you want to promote?
Any promotion?
Yeah, actually, me and Harrison's brother Sean have just started a new gaming history podcast called The Two Crude Dudes. The first episode is out now, and it is on the rise and fall of Street Fighter.
Where can we find that, P-Money?
That is at The Two Crude Dudes on SoundCloud, but we've also got links for the Facebook, the Twitter on the SoundCloud page. So if you could give us a like and a follow, that'd be great.
We'll
check it out.
We'll put a link on the old description there.
And one last plug, actually. We've got the NerdCon coming. NivCon is on the horizon.
Now tell the people when that is.
It's in March. Can't quite remember off the top of my head the actual date.
We'll put a link in the description.
We'll put a link in the description.
But Nerds International are running a convention, which is going to be tight.
Yep.
So what kind of things can we expect from it?
Online games.
Loads of online games. We're all playing and running some stuff. I've got a couple of Fiasco games on there. I think Harrison's running some Cthulhu.
Yeah. I'm running Cthulhu Investigating.
Wicked.
Very nice.
Investigation School.
So it should be a good blast. And get over, sign up, and we'll see you online in March for NivCon.
So that brings us to the end of another episode, and that means that obviously we need to leave you with a thought. Something to keep you going.
Brain food.
Exactly. Because what the hell are you going to do until the next episode,
Not a lot.
There's nothing to do. We looked out the outside of our window a minute ago, right?
Didn't like it.
Wasteland out there.
Absolute wasteland.
It's just hell.
Yep.
So, I've got to give you a thought, something to think about, something to mull over. So if a unicorn is a horse with a horn, is a horse without a horn a unicorn?
Get out of here.
All right,
That's a
so
good one.
and that leaves one final thing to be said: Chicken McBosh. Woo!
Don't forget to check the weather when you leave your house.
Especially if you're a dwarf.